Beautiful.
I've been speaking to you for a few months now.
We have, yes.
Yes, and it's taken a while, but we're here. Thank you very much. Goddess Jade, that's what I'm going to call you.
That's fine, you can.
Goddess Jade.
Goddess Jade. That's Jade. This is Daniel.
Hi,
Hi,
Daniel.
how are you? Seriously, wait, this guy. Okay, we'll get into it. I don't know. I just rocked up. Yeah, let's
I've asked Daniel to come along. You know, yeah, have
that's
some.
fine.
So what is that? What is that
Sharing
stodge?
is caring.
Sharon is caring.
There you go.
He likes to watch.
Have some rakia. This conversation, I don't know where it's going,
So
but
what
we'll see.
drink is this?
This is called rakia.
Welcome.
Serbian
Oh,
Macedonian.
wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
just a little bit.
That
Just take it
smells
easy.
so strong. I don't usually drink that
We
much
we have a
alcohol.
duty of care to make sure you get home safe tonight. I'm being no, don't.
She's all right. She's all
That's
right.
it. No, we have
She's
a duty.
all right.
That's it.
Good
So
to have you
take it
back,
easy.
Stodge.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very
I've
much.
missed you.
I had to tame myself down from last time. You know.
You did. Yeah. He's
I'm just
going
gonna keep. I'm just gonna keep quiet now.
No,
No.
No.
be yourself.
All right.
Exactly.
I am always myself. Trust me.
And this is why you're
You
here.
can't tame
Along
me.
with Jade.
You motherfuckers can't tame me. But anyways, let's get into it. So welcome, Goddess Jade.
Thank you.
Welcome. So do you want to explain what you do for work?
All right. So I do parties in the lifestyle. So if people don't know what the lifestyle is, it's pretty much alternative relationships. So the parties I do social events like a meet and greet cocktail parties where people in the lifestyle actually come together. I also do sex parties, and the sex parties I do two of them actually. So the first one is more for the younger group, and the second one is more for the mature over 40s group.
That would be us, Stodge. I know you're a younger group.
But you know what? It's not really about the age per se. It's more about, if I can say, open-mindedness, things like that. And on top of that, I also do pamper parties. So they're more catered to women. And the men that goes to those are ones who actually want to pleasure all the women.
It's like
without
Dancing Bear.
any
Yeah.
Like Dancing Bear.
expectations.
Like Dancing Bear.
without any expectations in return.
So how does that work? How does that work? So the males pleasure the women.
Yes, so they have to be comfortable, like massaging them,
That's not hard to
serving
do.
them,
Serving, that's fine.
serving them, like when they come in, take the coat off.
Oh, that's chivalry.
Get there exactly.
That's
This is-
chivalry.
this
And that is what is missing
Yes,
from today's
yes.
dating world.
Can I take
Chivalry.
your- can I take your- I don't know, but that's chivalry.
Maybe
That's
after
brilliant.
I drink
So-
a lot of these.
Hold
drink,
on.
maybe.
So I just want to clarify something. I'm going to
yeah.
shut up after this.
No, don't shut up,
I thought
dude.
that she was
That's
a
what
stockbroker. You said
I told you.
stockbroker, financial
He was
services,
interested in money.
and now
I tricked you,
there's
man.
some other stocks being broken here.
I tricked
Well,
you.
you can say I do stockbroking with, people.
He breaks it. She breaks
Goddess,
it.
it's like a financial dominatrix. Yeah, it's okay. Take my money. All right, I'm going to shush now, and please continue. I'm
Now-
so interested.
With my pamper parties, the thing I do stress to the men that go, and it's a ticketed event, that means they actually pay to pleasure the women. All right. Now, a lot of alpha males, can't really understand that, really. And I've had some men tell me that it's not going to work, that you won't find any men that will actually pleasure women without any expectations in return.
And they pay
because
for
I
it.
tell them, you're not going to expect, you shouldn't expect sex.
Yeah.
If the woman likes you and you pleasure her, then you will get what you want. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's just basically going back to treating a woman like a
Yeah,
goddess.
that's all it is.
You
Cool.
know?
That's
That
like the
all
bare
it is.
basics.
I reckon that's
Go back
fantastic.
to basics.
But why? Yeah, but why pay? This is the thing. Why are men paying for it? This is what I like. Why are men actually paying for what they should be doing in the first place? Is it like do they
Well-
not do that to their women, or this is what's wrong?
Yes,
Have they got mother issues,
what's-
maybe?
I wouldn't go that far, but it's very interesting to actually see. Maybe women don't like to get pampered that way in their own personal
trust me.
lives.
You'll find a lot of women wants to be pampered. They just want to be treated very well, being massaged.
Yeah, it's natural.
Like, how should I say it? I know a lot of guys try to say, oh, I'm going to massage you. I'm going to give you an hour-long massage. You're going to feel really good. But at the end of the day, it's all talk.
Turns into
Because
sex.
exactly, right? So my pamper parties it's pretty much, you're going to massage them, but you shouldn't be expecting that you're going to fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what?
They usually
what a lot of men don't realize, that if you pleasure the woman, guess what? You're going to get everything that you want. But they don't realize that. And that's what's wrong in the dating world these days.
Yeah,
Because a
'cause-
lot of the men are wham, bam, thank you, man.
Yeah,
What's
and off they
happened?
go.
What's
Guys.
happened?
Well, we explained
What
before.
happened to foreplay? What happened to taking your
Exactly.
time?
Oh my God.
What happened to
And
one
walk
date,
away.
2 dates,
Yes.
3 dates? I take you out because I know you're going to have the best orgasm of your life when you open up to me. What is this? I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. Men, I don't even know which camera to look at. They're both pointing at her.
He's got
Nick, what have you done? Both
What are you
pointing to her.
speaking? You're not even the guest, Dodge. No, I'm joking.
I don't know.
Hey, I want to know, you know what's good about is, I know the women perspective, you know. Sometimes I don't know the men perspective. I know some, but not all.
Well, we were discussing this before. Like, we're going the feminists. You're on a page as well. So
Well, I'm on a lot of Facebook groups that talk about, men in general, the issues that they come across, about dating and everything else. Like, a lot of these women do want monogamous relationships and things like that. Some likes alternative relationships, but all of them have the same kind of issues, that men just don't treat them the way they want it. So,
that's
like,
the
I'm more
missing
of an
thing.
observer.
That's what we need to do.
Well, this is Will's.
Where can we buy tickets?
Yeah.
Well, the thing
we'll
is,
kill it.
just because you have money for the tickets doesn't mean that you'll get accepted.
I'm a registered massage therapist. I actually massage.
My parties are pretty exclusive, so
Well, I'm not getting in there.
I brought you here. Shut up, dude. I'm trying to get you in.
so all guests are screened for suitability.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not just all about looks. You don't have to be a supermodel. You don't have to have a six-pack. But if you can, I usually know how the guy is going to be like the way they talk to you on chat. Like, it's not always going to be 100%, but if they talk to you respectfully,
Yes.
right? They're not arrogant, then, you may be able to get in. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, and it just depends.
So this is it. So
Well, there's 3 that you can do.
yeah,
Like for me.
yeah. Well, you got that. The men please the woman. Mm-hmm. Then what's the other ones you have?
So the 2 of them is the sex parties. They're purely just sex parties.
Jesus. All right. Cool.
But it just doesn't mean that, this is what a lot of people think, that if they buy a ticket and they get in, that they're going to be guaranteed sex. All right? It doesn't work that way. Because at the end of the day, it's always about consent.
Yes.
So, just because you rock up, you buy the ticket, it doesn't mean that, the girl that you want is going to have sex with you. You still need to ask. And one thing that is really, really good about the lifestyle is that they're pretty respectful, because everyone should be asking.
Yes.
Like, even like if I touch your arm, I have to ask you, is it okay if I touch your arm?
Yes. I'm
I would do it.
But you know what?
That's
She's used to it.
you have a lovely touch. That felt really nice.
Touch him too much. Careful.
No, don't do that. No, please. But that was a lovely touch. Thank you very much. I get that. Consent is sexy. Consent is sexy.
Exactly. And I'll tell you the difference, because, I've been to both lifestyle events and also mainstream events. Like, I'm not going to mention any, like, particular clubs or anything. But, for example, you go through a crowd, on a mainstream sort of event. All the guys, or not all, what I will be experiencing is, people touching my butt, and you don't know who it is.
Oh, that's a bit much.
It happens
That's
a
a
lot.
bit much.
But you expect it, right?
Nah.
That's right. But,
That's
you
if you
can't
had a
turn
place
like that,
around.
no.
And,
You're gonna have
it's
some
happened to
disrespect.
me, and it's happened to me.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
like
but it
that.
happens,
Yeah.
You know what
weirdos.
they say? It's not all men, but it's always a man. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. Well, I'm
it
a
up.
man. It depends on what situation he's in.
Even if I'm at a sex party, she's naked in front of me, I'm gonna slap her ass. I don't know this
No.
person. That's a bit much.
Yeah, you
I
don't do
don't.
that.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
that's
don't.
my opinion. It's how I've been raised.
Well, this is the thing. Sex
my mum
party-
would fucking knock me, if she was there, bro.
Well, yes, it
See,
is about...
he loves his mum. That's why he's
Enough
a
is
respectful
better,
gentleman.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've been
what
raised
you're
well.
taught,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So some men do need a bit of education. So what I usually do at my parties, I have couples and I have single women, and I also do accept single men.
Yeah.
All right, but they need to be a certain caliber.
Okay.
Right. What I usually do is I give them a set of rules, and it's only the single men that I do. The thing is, with single men, they've actually got like kind of like a bad reputation in the scene, where a lot of couples don't like single men. All right, but you know what? For me, it's actually not about the single man; it's men, right? Because I've come across couples that the single men don't know anything about consent. You know, so it's not really about single men; it's more about a man. All right.
Also, you're saying in some couples, even the men in the couple
Yes.
don't. Yeah, okay, that yeah.
All right, and then we talk. Obviously, we tell them, look, what you're doing is not right. You should be asking. And when I say asking, I mean verbal consent, because you know how like, body language can be misconstrued. Like some people might be nodding, but really inside they're saying no. So you need to ask verbally. Is it okay if I can touch you? Is it okay if I touch your leg? They have to say a fuck yes, right? Otherwise, don't. All right? Because, once you have a bad name in the lifestyle, that's it. Everyone
Kicked
will know.
out of the club.
Well,
Small little
you know
group.
when they say that if you do something good, you tell a couple of friends. But what happens when you're treated bad? You'll tell everybody. You'll start complaining. You'll tell management. You don't tell management.
It's like an
oh my
industry.
God,
Yeah,
this,
it is it's an industry.
Another
Isn't it?
industry, man. Another world.
I mean, it's not even about the
There's a
industry.
rating
It's about
for you.
everything.
Yeah, of
reviews.
Right?
course.
You
Yeah,
get bad service,
Yeah, that's right.
you'll
Yeah.
complain.
You get bad vibes too often.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you?
You go for a
'cause
review,
I
Jade.
reckon this podcast can go for about 6 hours now.
It could,
I
man.
know, yes.
Dude,
and
like,
I can
ask.
talk
This
a
is what
long
you need to do.
time.
No, so I
Yeah,
wanna,
this is great.
And I
What?
haven't even touched on anything.
No,
no.
we're gonna do a lot of touching soon. All right.
Yeah, we will. You already got one touch. Settle
Only-
down.
That was lovely.
Only if you ask me, and I may say yes.
Of course,
It
no.
depends. Give me some more drink. No.
Actually, Alfred. She's perched. Is that what it is?
Oh,
Or
and
would you
that's
like another
one thing.
There's water there too.
With the parties, of course, there should be no excessive drinking,
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say,
right? Because then consent goes out the window.
Just
and you can't
Viagra.
get hard.
Just Viagra.
Oh well, that's another thing
That's
as
it,
well.
yeah.
Yes,
Just
Drugs,
Viagra.
cocaine,
Viagra.
this and that. Go there, enjoy
Remember, go to
yourselves.
one. And but even if you have 2 or 3 Viagra's, man, if you're not into it, if you get nervous,
Well, of course.
Oh well, at the end of the day, it's actually your mind, right? Like I know a few people that take the Viagra at the parties and they can't get it up
Yeah.
because they're
man.
thinking too much.
it's too much, mate.
That's right, because it is pretty overwhelming, especially
there's a
if
lot
you're
of
new.
tits and ass and
If you
stuff.
can
It's
imagine.
intense.
There's a lot of naked people right in front
crazy.
of you.
I've witnessed, like I said, I witnessed a few parties. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Like for the men, it's more obvious.
Well,
Right?
yeah, well, you sort of. There was one time I did go as a single bloke. That was
All right.
interesting.
Oh, tell us more, please.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, I was that fantasy,
Yeah. So
But there was, I can see what you mean. There was, I'm pretty sure South American. There's a South American guy there with glasses, and I was watching him. He was like hawking everyone. So it was a couple finishes, and he's jumping in.
hello, Chris.
He just jumps in off the back. Yeah, I was watching him.
And then what happened?
Well, he was getting what he wants, but he got everyone to do the dirty work, and he would just come in and slide in there, and then she gets, okay. And then that's it. He's got a girl. So you're a fucking little, you know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
hope
is
he
that-
asked for consent.
Well, I think he does. Probably, but
Because-
got him at the right time,
Interesting.
He was in, I was
My
going,
mind's
oh,
boggled. All right. This is
Have you ever been to a sex party or that sort of lifestyle event?
no comments.
Don't worry, I don't think your mum would be watching you.
It's not my
Sorry,
mum. I'm worried about.
Oh, girlfriend, wife.
No, Daniel, how you been, bro?
God.
This is okay.
No. Well, either way, you got the idea, right? You got the idea of how it works. But a lot of
Can't want
the
more.
couples I saw like there was you see one of the females. I think she was sitting there just cross-legged, and the guy was going talking around. So she was there for him, obviously.
All right, yes.
You can see there was another couple. They weren't together. She was flirty, and obviously then they got kicked out. She was fighting with him, so she probably got jealous at one stage.
Yes.
This is what I went there for research and development, man.
Of
Me
course.
too.
Well,
I did the same thing.
I go to
Oh,
other
just-
people's parties too for research.
Yes, of course.
I'm for a future movie gig for podcasting.
I'm
Can
writing
we actually?
scripture. I'm
Can we
writing
have a
scripture.
podcast like at one of these events? Like do one in the back
Well,
and just
I did
do live
offer-
commentary.
No. What
I
you
did
did?
offer.
She did offer, but this is why you're here. Rome wasn't built in a day. This is what I always say.
Hey, we do live
So you've met
commentation.
Nick now.
Yes.
You've met my
hello,
cameraman Dan.
All right, I've got an
Oh,
idea.
you're the cameraman.
He's the
I'll be
cameraman.
the cameraman.
What, POV?
He's a cameraman. He comes with
I've
a welding
always-
shield.
I've been watching porn since I've been 6. And it's been my destiny.
Like a lot of men do.
Yeah. Can I? Are you saying that? Sorry, but that's the problem now. Even though
Porn?
that's your industry, well, for the young generation, they can
Well,
access it.
Yes.
And it's that is a
It's
problem.
fake.
And this
It
is
is,
why, like, I
yes.
wanted to bring you on as well because I love what you do. I think it's brilliant. I've
love
got no
what I
problems
do.
with it. Yeah, I got no problems with it. But because the younger generation access a lot of porn now, I think they're sort of losing that
well,
mojo for life. Like they're distracted.
well,
They've
that's
got
the
access
issue.
to it.
That's a lot of issues.
Like Stodgy's 6 years old, man.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, but
30 years
that-
ago, dude.
30,
No.
29.
Well, that's a lot of issues with men as well.
It is.
About porn and their addiction to porn, and a lot of the women complain about that. Their partners are watching too much porn, that they can't actually be more intimate anymore.
Yes.
Or they can't come without either watching porn or the women can't make them come, and they feel really bad about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, porn does have a lot of, especially when you're addicted to it, as what the men do. So that's another issue, and porn, it's not real, right?
What?
It's not real, bro.
It's not real.
Only Dancing Bear is real.
It's all scripted. they
Dancing
have fluffers there
They
to
do.
keep them hard.
Is Dancing Bear are they porn stars that do it, or they just
Yeah, I think so.
really
It's
real
all,
women?
bro. I've done.
'Cause that's-
Listen, I don't mind
Sometimes it
saying
looks
this,
I
but
reckon
there's enough. I've done enough research to find out the girls aren't real girls. They're porn stars.
Yeah,
right?
has to be.
You got to go down this devious path of fucking
Rabbit hole?
hole,
But
and
people think
found
it's
this
real.
one, that one, this one. They've all got wristbands, and that's all I'm going to
he's
talk
been there.
about it. I've done it, mate.
But,
All
but
right.
that's what it is. So is it more the fantasy? So that's why I come into your parties, as an adult, obviously, or
Well, yes, over 18.
of course.
Of course.
But this satisfies their fantasies, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
by bringing one of their
group sex,
Oh,
threesomes,
Yeah.
yeah.
gangbangs.
oh,
Okay.
that's
hectic,
That's
bro.
hectic. All like protection, all
Yes.
that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
100% safe.
Unless they're already an established,
Yeah,
they have an
understood.
established
Okay.
relationship. But
Yeah.
as you know, STIs, things like that, and maybe
Gonorrhea.
even pregnancy.
Oh
And,
yeah.
like people do, like at my parties anyway, they're all protected. So I supply them with condoms and
Yeah.
lube, just not Viagra.
Yeah, no,
That's
no,
all.
Get that from Thailand.
Yeah, that's Kamagra.
Kamagra.
That's how it was Shane Warne passed away, apparently.
Kamagra.
Yeah,
Fucking probably some. Yeah, who knows?
And they bring their own alcohol too.
I reckon a couple of drinks to get loose, enjoy yourself. Listen, I've got so many questions. Where do we
Go,
begin?
start with one at least. What's
So
your
you
lane?
got two parties. One for the older generation. I'm gonna say for the experienced 40 plus. But you got the other ones for what 18? Obviously 18.
18 to about 40, 45.
So have you noticed a difference in dynamic
Yes.
between the two?
I do. So the younger ones, in both age groups, I do get a lot of new people coming
Yeah.
in. And of course, ones that are regular, but the younger ones tend to be a little bit more, how should I say it? They care about what they look like, right? They go to the gym a lot.
Yeah.
They want to look good. And a lot of them do just want to be seen,
Okay.
right? And there is a bit of like self-esteem issues. Not all. I'm just saying that, they care about, do I look fat in this? And, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That
me
comes in
every day.
age.
Yeah.
When you're young, and especially with like social media
Yeah.
now.
That's
they
a tough
think,
one.
Yeah.
They think that, you have to have a certain look. You have to look really, really good. You need to be like, really fit have a six-pack.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas the older group, they're a little bit more comfortable about their bodies.
Of course.
Pretty much they don't care. They just
Yeah,
want to have
they
sex. They just want to have fun.
They're fuck, mate.
They're the, ones,
Exactly.
they're the ones in the hallway. You see them
They're
in the
the ones
hallway.
that
They're
fucking
pumping and
suck
They're
they
like,
past the rooms.
I just want to have fun. I want
Yeah.
to have
Well,
sex. I don't care if I'm like hanging this way or that way.
And it's a Saturday night too as a couple as well. They go out, you play a bit of pool, you socialise, whatever. And mate, they do their thing. Some of them don't let people join. They put the chain. Is where I've been, where you can watch. Those
Yes,
rooms.
some
Do
of
you
the
do that?
clubs. Some of the clubs
Yeah,
do that,
some of
but
them,
for
they
me,
got rooms.
mine are more like private,
Do
exclusive
you
events.
have like a? Oh, is it? Can I just?
So-
Yeah. Can you just tell me like what's the decor like when you go in? Can you take me through this? Like, is
Yeah,
it a
sure.
big room,
Okay.
1 bed, 6 beds? What are we
Now,
talking about?
the venues that I use are usually different each time.
Okay.
So I usually get like I started off with like a 3-bedroom apartment,
Okay.
you know, with like 20 to 30 people,
Oh, 20 to
1970s,
30
mate. Just
and
on the
I've,
carpet.
on the carpet.
I've had parties at warehouses that can, you know,
Fuck, that's-
that I have 150 people.
150
Yeah.
So where do
people.
they go in a warehouse? Do you have beds and stuff, or
Well, the first
Structural steel.
warehouse
The
party,
logistics.
like I've never had it in a warehouse before, and the first time I did it in a warehouse, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have any beds. I used air beds.
Okay.
That was a big disaster because
Wow.
if you can imagine,
they won't?
There's a lot of pumping
Women-
involved.
That goes down.
women were
There's a lot of
using their
pumping up, too.
stilettos and standing on
yeah.
the.
Right.
So-
I wish I saw this.
But you know, everyone still had a good time, and it was just freaky that night because it was one of those really hot summer nights, and it was 40 degrees. So
It's
if
like
you can
camping, air
imagine
beds.
in a warehouse how hot it went.
That's
It's
all right,
hot.
The
though.
smell would have been amazing.
Yeah, but that's quite sexy.
It is, bro.
quite-
That's
it's like
that-
Footloose
I don't
now,
know,
you
but
know?
that's got a feeling
Footloose.
to it, man.
Dun, dun.
It's making something rise inside
Yes.
me now thinking about it.
Yeah, so the air beds didn't like. I had like 10 air beds there.
Crazy.
Half of them deflated.
That's a lot pumping up too.
oh
10.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like going camping with one's enough.
She goes dry.
No, I had to tell them, oh guys, stop fucking so I can like pump up the air
Get
beds.
up
yeah.
first.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let them, like, I actually wanted it to be in just one area, but it just got so hectic that I didn't care that they were doing it.
If you ever,
150
if you ever
people.
do that
Yes, I
again
had
and you need
about
like
that much.
bed guys all night, Stodge and I will happily assist.
But you know,
I would have been a
everyone,
logistics manager. I'll sort it out for you, I
we'll
swear.
be the air pump guy.
We'd be there. It's like, stop this, go. Need another bed. Why not? Like, sorry.
no, you're fine.
No, I'm just laughing.
go.
But
Okay,
that's,
so-
that is awesome.
intense,
What an
man.
idea.
Yeah.
They're just the feeling of going, oh, man.
And the heat too would have been.
Yeah, so
You know,
the
adds to
second
it.
time I did a warehouse party, I thought ahead. Okay, so I knew that the airbeds wasn't going to work, so I actually had to book or rent beds. And I was thinking, okay, shit, I have to do like
I'll be renting.
5 beds. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to tell them, oh, because I'm having a sex party,
No.
you know, and the minimum was like 1 month. I didn't need it for a month. I just needed it for a weekend. So I still paid for the month, but I only had it for the weekend. They didn't ask any questions, which was good. But, you know, one of my reasons for renting 5 beds, you know, for the weekend was, oh, you know, I had relatives coming over from interstate.
Filipinos,
So I had that, you know, hey, I got a lot of family, all right?
Couple of couches. Couple of
Couple
couches.
of couches.
Couple of couches.
That's a good idea.
beanbags.
Yeah, so that worked out well. But as you know, a warehouse does get really, really hot.
Oh, bro.
So that was probably one of the main issues that we had that night. And the fact that, you know, they had 2 toilets there, but one of them got blocked. So I had to like sort that out.
Oh,
So
condoms.
things do happen.
Condoms.
Yeah, so it's like, oh my God, what am I going
Someone
to do?
tried anal for the first time.
And it got blocked. And obviously I didn't want to tell the owners about that. And so what someone suggested, maybe there's a plumber in one of the guests.
There'll be a few plumbers there.
And guess what? There was one. And I said to him, oh my God, you're such a lifesaver. Please, can you sort out this blocked toilet? So and he goes, do you have a plunger? And I said, no, we don't have a plunger. But don't worry, I'm a plumber. Give me a towel. So he wraps his towel on his hand, and guess what he did?
Starts doing that. Yeah. Gets the pressure going.
Oh my
They're doing this
God.
for 2 hours and I'm doing it
So I
again.
said, you know what? I'm going to reward you.
Oh.
Well, I didn't do anything, obviously, because I'm very professional.
No,
so
what
I don't
about you're the
actually-
goddess?
I
You're
don't
the goddess.
actually play at my own parties because I want to be professional.
Because
and
you're
of
too
course,
busy sorting out the
Exactly.
logistics.
Pumping up
You can't
beds.
just imagine
I
that.
can't do that.
No, I mean, but that's the ranking. You can't.
All right. So how did he get rewarded for doing that?
All right. So I had a girlfriend there, and I said, you know, her name, meet the plumber. Plumber, meet my friend. Then they got together.
Beautiful. What a
That's all it
perfect
was.
reward.
Exactly.
What a perfect reward.
So he was happy. Yeah, so that was a crazy night. It was a crazy
He makes
night.
bridges. He builds
I
bridges.
build bridges, bro. I build bridges between people now.
That's interesting. So what's another? I know mansions or anywhere.
So I've done it in a
Play with this.
mansion. So that was really, really good. Mansions are very good. But I was only allowed to have that for the weekend because they sold it. So, but I actually wanted to do it more there because they had little rooms. You know, they had, I think, 8 bedrooms. So I used 6 of them. But the funny thing with sex parties, right? I had about 6 rooms available. But guess what? Most of the people were just in one room. They just like watching, you know, like orgies happening. You know, the other rooms were like maybe 1 or 2 people, but majority of the people were just in
the
one
action room. It's the main room.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was
The
small.
pheromones. The
That's
pheromones
the
are getting
yard, mate. That's the yard. If
Like
you
you
wanna
see all the people,
boneyard.
you know, around the edges, just watching
Yeah, yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
There's a lot of watching going
a
on.
lot, man.
A
A
lot.
lot of watching. And then you get confident, you get in there, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got couples that are confident, they're just lying there,
Yeah.
they tap his shoulder.
I'd love to watch one of these.
Dude, well, you will, or you're going to the cameraman.
Yeah,
We'll
All right,
come to
we'll get
one
back.
of you
That,
on the next
that's
one.
okay. So this is crazy.
Gets
So
nervous.
150 people at
Well,
one.
that's the most, but usually
And
they
they're all
range.
fucking? That's a lot of fucking.
All right, the thing is,
That's a
the
lot of
thing is
That's
with-
Guinness Book of Records.
The thing about my parties, which is that's why they like going there, like the regulars, is because they know most of the people actually have sex.
Yeah.
So a lot of the clubs and other parties is where, you know, a lot of them don't really participate much, but they know when they go to my parties that they're open to play, you know, and so probably about 99% of the people that go to my party play. The 1%, which is me, and probably a couple of the people that work for me. And the people that work for me actually are more like volunteers. They're my friends.
Yeah.
So my DJs, my bar people, the people who help me clean
Entertainment-
up.
Entertainment, wasn't there entertainment?
On the sex parties, I don't actually have the entertainment
that's the
because
gatherings.
their entertainment is watching people fuck.
Magician.
well,
Right?
she does gather at the meet
Yeah,
and greet.
but I do have my social events. So people who are just very, very new in the scene, who aren't ready for a sex party. Although in saying that, you don't need to play. All right, you don't have to. You have to do what's comfortable for you.
Of course you do.
So I've had people in my sex parties that don't really have sex. You know, either they didn't feel like, you know, maybe they just didn't feel like doing it, or they're just very new and they just want to see what it's like. But that's why I have my social events. So those are the ones where, you know how I told you that I've got 2 sex parties, the younger and the older ones. Well, my social events is where I put both together because it's only a social event. And that's
Meet and
when they
greet.
mix and mingle and
Is it still fucking there?
No.
No,
It's.
You never know.
I went to one of yours. It's one of
Yes,
and you had
that's
the
right.
entertainment there as
yeah,
well.
so that's where I'll have entertainment. I'll have my DJs there so you can dance. It's always held at a cocktail lounge.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm the one, I actually did one on Friday, so that was really good. And the theme for that is Dirty Disney. So people dressed up. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have to dress up, but if they do, I do reward them. Like I have like a
like the
best
rewards.
dressed competition.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I could see
So-
yours.
How are they getting rewarded?
Oh, well,
Free tickets.
The plumber.
yes, I've had that. Free tickets for the
Fuck.
next social
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
But
I'd fight to the death for that.
I am in a, I'm not sure if you've heard of this site, but it's called Red Hot Pie. RHP.
Never heard of it.
All right, never. All right, well, then you just Google that. It's redhotpie.com.au.
I've got to stop.
So they sponsor all my events and they promote my events. So I put my events on their platform. And so most of the people that go to my parties are from Red Hot Pie and some from my Instagram. And the 2 parties that I do, the first one is Bondi Play Parties. That's for like the social events. and the younger party. And the older one is called Club 40 Sydney. So I do have 2 separate Instagram for that. So have a look.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Yeah.
We'll put it up.
How old
And
are
Red
you?
Hot Pie, of
I'm
course.
44 this year.
So we
44.
can't go to the same party.
What do you mean?
I'm 35.
What's it
You're
up to?
44.
What's it up to? 18
All
to
right.
what?
I have to be in
Dude,
the I have to be with the hot fit
We'll
chicks.
be like Beavis and Butthead.
Just don't be creepy, guys.
No. I'm quite a gentleman. I actually really enjoy massaging people.
Well,
being
No, he's a
serious.
professional.
I'm actually a professional massage
I like
therapist.
No, seriously, are you?
Yes.
You're qualified?
Yes, in Hawaiian massage.
Hawaiian.
That's-
I've
what's
never
that
heard
one
of that.
Huh?
That's the that's the.
But it's a spiritual. It's a. We'll talk. Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk later. We'll talk later.
I was gonna say. I was just gonna touch on you. I was like, wait a second. No, it's a consent. I can't do that. Should you not trust me? Oh fuck. Well, we can't go to the same party.
What do you mean? It's all right, man. I'm young.
All right. So when it comes, like, I'm not very strict on the age, right? So I do have couples or like play friends
Yeah, okay.
that, you know, one person is younger than the other.
Oh, of
so it's
course.
like split, you know. So they do ask me, oh, what happens, you know, because I'm 30 and my boyfriend or my partner is like 50,
Yeah.
Okay.
right? Now, I have to make a judgment call. So obviously it's my party, so I can accept whoever I want, right? Just give me money.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it, man. That's what I mean.
No,
That's
of
we're
course
going to be the
not.
same party. That's all right.
My ticket's 7,000. Yours is 250.
Can I raise a question? If you're
Who are you?
20,
Get a mic, will
if
you?
you love older men or women, can you go to the older?
Yes.
You have mummy issues.
Now,
Yes.
I know.
It's it. That's
He
our
wants-
Nick.
Jade, he wants to be like, you know.
All right, well, let's get there. Let her
And I've
answer the
had
woman.
that. I've had that.
I love
Yeah.
mature women
And,
too. It's amazing.
Even men who are young who likes older women.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
I've
of-
had ones where they're suitable for both.
Yeah.
They just have to pay obviously the same, like, you know, the price of the tickets for both. But what I usually do with the Bondi Play parties and Club 40 parties, I do them back to back. So on Friday nights, I will have the Club 40s. On Friday night, I have Bondi Play parties, which is the younger group, on the sex parties. And then on Saturday night, I have Club 40 Sydney. Because, of course, you know, it's less work for me. Because
Yeah.
then, you know, it's
You set
just
up.
right after, the setting up. You only have to do it once. and you
Stock all of
pack up
condoms.
once. Exactly.
Actually, how many condoms would you order?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot. Like,
Well, like,
you know,
what are we
I get it
talking?
in bulk. You
Yeah.
know,
brand
wholesale.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have to check.
You probably.
All
You'd
different.
have to.
All
Yeah.
different sizes, colours,
Okay,
flavours,
one
everything.
thing. What? Because the background is the way I got into it is because I used to work for a club, a sex club in King's Cross. They are no longer operating, but what they did was they always got the large size condoms. All right.
Okay.
And I asked the owner or the one who was organizing, because I used to work for him. He said, oh, why do you do the large condoms? And he goes, it's because it makes the guy feel better. But then I'm thinking, and I tried it out. The problem was, and this is from experience when I started doing my own parties, I found that the large condoms, I had more condoms wasted.
It falls off.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of extra large.
That's right.
Nah.
So it's like, you know
Especially when
what?
you're nervous.
I'm just going to do
small.
regular.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Because if
Average
a guy
big
is big and they can't find regular, they should be bringing their own then.
Correct.
Because they already know they're big.
Yeah.
But you know, it's more about men's egos. That's what the organizer was saying, because that's the reason why he had large condoms, is because, oh my God, yeah, I can fit large. And it does fit.
Yeah.
It does
yeah,
fit.
yeah.
Falls off,
Right?
but after some
when you're
vigorous
having
sex, it comes off.
It comes off easily.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not, no offense to the men, but men can be pigs.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
We can be pigs.
Like all the condoms are just on the floor,
Well,
even though I've got like a bin right there.
Put them in a
What-
tissue, wrap it up, and put it,
what
and
do
you
you mean,
tie
what-
it up and in there.
We'll block the drain at the warehouse.
Exactly.
As the
Who knows
condoms.
what was
Guarantee.
blocked?
Guarantees the condoms.
Oh,
Wasn't a big shit.
So yeah, so I decided to do
Depends.
regular condoms, and that,
Yeah,
that
okay.
worked. There was
Yeah.
less amount of wasted condoms.
because it stayed on.
And I do make it clear to people that, look, I've got regular condoms. If you're bigger, then you have to bring your own.
Yeah. And I'll send you to my friend. See, this is running a pretty strict business.
There has to be.
So-
You literally, you have to. You can't just be fucking just loose here.
No,
No, it has to be like a militant operation.
Do you have a regular spot though, or do you always just go to places?
Now, I have been offered a place at a sex club, but at the moment, I'm just looking at my options. So I usually just do private places like Airbnbs, or my friends. My last party was a pool party, so my friend actually offered me her place. So that was really nice. So we had it there.
How many people were there?
That one, because it was it was my friend's house. I didn't want to make it 150 people. So I probably got about 50 people.
Imagine the neighbours.
That's nice.
50, 60. But the thing about
where it was.
where I had, they didn't really have, it was in the Shire. So,
there you That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. They always having parties, mate.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell, bro.
And plus, you know what? When you really think about it, sex parties aren't that noisy,
No.
right? People think, they
That's not
think
bad.
about porn, like, all the
Nah,
women
I
screaming.
can't. That's fucked.
But it's not.
It's not real.
It's not, exactly.
isn't
Exactly.
real.
Because you'll find that at sex parties, they're actually not screaming. Like, if you can imagine 50 people screaming, it's not going to work.
Probably a lot of
No.
laughing.
It's quiet.
A lot
I
of
reckon it'll be a lot of
moaning.
laughing, moaning, but
Yeah, it's
laughing,
quiet.
giggling, having a
And-
laugh, good time.
Guess what? If someone's screaming, you know how to shut them up?
Oh, you gag them. Shove
Stick
something
your
else.
dick in there.
Bloody,
With
the South
consent,
American guy
of
comes with
course, with
glasses and
consent.
boom, straight in
Always
there.
ask before you stick it in.
Yeah. And there you go, stop.
Thank
Right?
you. Oh my god, fuck. All right,
Hey?
this is
See, this is another world.
this is
And
going back to brokering.
you just came with
Told you I'm a
finance.
brokerage.
Yeah,
yeah,
she did.
So like this is why I'm also interested in, like, I find that a lot of marriages, a lot of couples go there to save their marriages, but
Some.
yeah, but they can in ways, but also
Yeah.
they can destroy marriages, right?
Exactly. Like, I don't think people should go there to save a marriage, but they can go there to explore. If you've been married to somebody for 20 years or whatever, your sex life do get a bit boring, right? So instead of doing things behind your partner's back, open up your relationship. You don't need to cheat, but the thing is, it's all about trusting your partner. You need to be fully, have a lot of communication and a lot of trust.
Number one.
Because, a lot of people do go to couples
Yeah.
that go to the sex parties, and some of them are fighting. They're fighting outside because obviously one person feels that the trust was broken. That's why if
Tell
you
a
ever,
story?
huh?
There's a story. Sorry, there's a story.
No, yeah, like
You mentioned someone you can.
well, there's actually a lot of stories, but one of the stories that I have is when I used to work at a sex club in King's Cross. I was working the bar, and it's BYO, so they bring their own alcohol, and I just pour it for them. And I noticed a woman, just keeps coming back to the bar, and she did look a bit sad. And I asked her, you okay? Who you with? She goes, oh yeah, my boyfriend took me here, but he's busy somewhere else.
Okay.
And I could tell that, she wasn't feeling that great. So it kind of just made me think, obviously, he was the one to convince her to come.
Yeah, he didn't include her.
Exactly.
He just was there,
If it's your first time, you have to make sure that your partner
Involve
is
her.
secure. You just don't go off.
Yeah, I
Fucking-
got you.
It's like, honey, can we go? Convinced her, did it. She didn't realise how like reality kicked in, and he's off there fucking.
Exactly. And that's happened so many
that's
times.
abusing the trust, though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that means they didn't have that talk.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys like to avoid talks, but when you're in the scene, you need to talk. It's very important. Otherwise, it's just going to it's going to damage your relationship. And another one when it was my own party, and this was actually at the warehouse.
I love this warehouse. Next warehouse, please let me know. Stodge?
Do you have a warehouse?
I probably could, actually. The steel industry's going down. There's
well,
a lot of...
you let me know because,
Yeah.
I can supply the beds.
Dude,
opening party.
Better Media Studios is going to... First of all, we're going to come
Right,
and do some socials for you. And then we're gonna have our own warehouse, mate. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Mattresses, mate.
Of course,
Better than
of
Can you do better than mattresses?
Well,
Structural steel mattresses.
No, this is the proper beds, you know, with a mattress and what's that thing at the bottom? I don't know where they put the mattress on top. That
Not a
thing.
stretcher.
Springs.
Is it a
Spring.
Oh, the
Well, yeah,
springs.
like a ensemble.
Oh.
You know, like I did double ensembles, queen ensembles, or whatever. Not the stupid wooden ones or the steel
I've
ones.
got a couple of fucking ideas, man.
Mate, he builds bridges. We can build
I just need
build
venues.
beds.
So you give me a venue, and I'll give you the
fucking,
party.
you'll have Narnia's closet,
I
mate. You
get
walk
venue.
through here, there's a whole new fucking world.
His closet,
I
Mr.
swear to
Nymphus
God.
coming out with half horse or whatever it was.
I'm serious, man. I
Yeah.
reckon I've got it in me to
Just
make
fit
it
it.
best. Okay, then what the fuck? Who's this guy?
Yeah. So
Networking.
at the warehouse party,
Yeah.
I noticed that one of the women was outside or in the foyer area and she was crying.
Oh, no.
So obviously I had to go and console her and make sure she's okay. And anyway, she
That's
was
beautiful,
telling me.
dude. See, she looks after him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to. That's why I don't play at my
Yeah,
own parties.
you gotta be
because
there.
I
You
need to
work
make sure that I'm present, that I'm there for the women, that they're feeling safe and comfortable. And I can't just be seen fucking in the corner or whatever.
No.
That's
Nah,
not
there's
the way
no
I
respect
operate.
there as well. Was she alright? What was she crying about if we don't mind?
Well,
we don't know who she
obviously,
is.
it's because she was there with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was somewhere else.
Shame on
See,
you.
same thing. The guy abuses that. Include her. She feels
Exactly.
uncomfortable, go home.
Exactly.
It's not for her. That's what I don't get. See, guys
Well-
are just fucked.
All I know is they're not together anymore.
Of
Good,
course not.
good.
She's worth more than him.
Contact
Ugh.
us on House of Blasius.
Asshole.
And I felt really bad for her.
Contact us. We'll sort you out. No.
No, but we'll make sure you're happy.
Yeah. That's
We'll
horrible.
play with the pleasure crew now.
Yeah. we are the
Massages.
pleasure crew. Better meet a pleasure crew.
That's it. Why not? I like it.
At all my parties, I do have a qualified massage therapist that comes in, and I love him, you know, because that's what he does the whole night.
Is he gay?
No, he's
Damn.
very straight.
Sneaky motherfucker.
He's very straight.
I do massages at sex parties.
He loves
Of course
doing
he
my parties.
does. Hey, he does massages too.
Nah, mate. I'll get in trouble, mate.
So,
We might talk one day. We'll see how it goes.
and that's part of the ticket.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fuck, I'm getting it for free now.
You know,
So he gets
no, but the
massa-
thing is,
so he gets
people,
massages.
yeah, he
gives
just
them.
does it
It's an
because
experience.
that's what he likes to do, you know. And I think he probably has the most. Should I say he's probably has the most sex out of everybody in the
Of
party?
course, because he's the most giving, naturally giving.
Exactly.
He doesn't expect the sex.
Because you know he doesn't expect the sex,
God
but
bless
guess
him.
what? When you pleasure a woman, right? They want to give back,
Of course, they want to give back.
right?
That's-
So that's why I
that's
have the
Playing the long game,
massage.
bro.
Because for me
I want to meet
personally,
this guy. Bring him on next time.
I love massages, and that's why
Yeah.
the things that I do at my parties is what I like.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I've done the pamper parties
It's not-
because I love being pampered, I love being worshipped, I love being massaged, and you know what? All the women, you know, they may not say it, but that's what they love. I mean, there are some women that don't like massages because they're ticklish or whatever, but you know, what woman doesn't want to be pampered?
This is what we're discussing too, like what you're saying. What I find is that chivalry, like you said.
Exactly.
Opening the door and treating a woman
it's
with
not-
respect. But
And
a
it's not
guy's
that hard.
No, well, it's not that hard. But this is where some women will abuse that, and then that's when the guys go in and they stop. That's what we discussed. Like,
Okay,
you know,
yes.
you're on the feminist side. Like you're not saying you're feminist, but
Yes, I
and
can
I'm the same.
understand.
You know, when I talk, like I'm for men, but not in the Andrew Tate side.
Yes, good.
Like we said, he teaches men how to disrespect women.
Exactly.
Like, and that's a thing. So it's like, how do you bring this together to bring that old chivalry, but the male doesn't want to feel like he's big, because a lot of it's like,
That he-
fuck this.
yeah.
I open the door, I do this, fucking see you later, bitch. You know what I mean? That's the
know.
No,
attitude.
that's
I
not
mean-
nice, and I don't know where that's come from.
Well,
I
the-
don't know
the-
where that's come from. That's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but
ridiculous.
this is the young generation, which I find. And okay, I'll give you this one thing too, and I find they're very soft. I went to a place Saturday night. I won't mention where, but it wasn't a sex party. It was Bella Vista Hotel. Anyway,
Hey, I've been there
it's
before.
basically a
They're all
sex
young.
party afterwards.
They're all young.
They're all young or married. But anyway, yes, the Friday night's a young party, and I remember going there with my mate.
Mm-hmm.
And a girl came up. She was flirting with my mate, and she was talking so openly and confident. And her boyfriend was next to him with his little haircut and his moustache, an 18, 19, 20-year-old just holding her drink going, and she's there like chatting us up.
I don't know, bro.
And this is the thing, but like that's how I see that generation. I don't know if it is it females.
I don't know, man.
Is it females have gotten something, which is great to have confidence, but the men have lost that. Like he's standing there, but what she's doing, like is that always sort of changed in ways? Like
Maybe
I remember my generation, I wouldn't like the female would sort of keep her wrong. Okay, I stick to the guy, but she was full flirting with us.
Well, maybe that's their relationship. You know, there are some relationships that the guy is more submissive, or you know, the term that they call, you know, cuckolding. If I've
heard of that, bro. It's definitely not me.
No, it's not me.
And you don't have to be, but some men are like that, and that's one of the kink things, you know. So.
And they've gotten softer, like women gotten stronger. You find?
Well, not necessarily, but I do agree that some women, like this is what we were talking about before, that can take advantage of that. You know, I've heard of women that go on dates just to have a free meal, you know, every day, so they don't have to pay groceries or whatever. You know, I don't like that, you know, when, but it is nice when the guy, you know, if I think that if a guy or a woman asks you out on a date, yes, it's nice when they pay for it.
Of course.
You know, because that's where, you know, being a gentleman.
You gotta pay for it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had girls ask for pay half.
Yeah, and
And
that's
I'm like,
fine
no,
too.
like
And
yeah,
that's
but I
fine
don't.
too.
Guys do that.
Yeah.
You know, they go halves, but
I like when I put a bit of fight.
put a bit of
Oh,
fight.
you
Put a
know,
bit
here's
of
my
fight.
credit card.
No, I
I'll
want to
take
pay.
it.
No, I want to pay. No, I want to pay. Stop.
Yeah. Come on,
Well, then you got the other ones. The other
one.
ones, it's like they just stand behind you at the till. You're like, so you're playing one of
Yeah.
those, eh? You fucking.
Well, when
no
I'm on
day
a
for
date,
you.
I always say, you know, they usually get up and say, I'll take care of a bill. And I just say, is that okay with you? You know, that's all you have to
That's
say,
nice.
really.
Yeah,
if
but
they
that's
say,
nice.
oh, no, is it okay if you pay? Then I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
What?
You know?
Yeah.
But of course, I won't see them
paid.
again.
Yeah, that's
I've
right.
always. Why they? Can you
never.
pay, bro? That's
I've
cuckolding.
never, dude. I can't do
No,
that.
I gotta pay.
Even if the date is just the talk, like it's
Even if it's a
nothing
coffee,
free.
like whatever.
Just a coffee.
That's
See,
it,
for me, like, you know, I have friends who say, oh, no, I don't do coffee dates. You know, it has to be a 5-star meal and whatever.
Nah,
like
that's
I
too
don't.
much.
You know,
So
like
who-
that's too much. That's taking advantage.
But there's guys out there that actually would do that.
Oh yes, of course.
Thinking that that's
Yes.
what I do, and they spend 2, 3, 4 times taking them out and nothing.
Nah, bro. I'll take it as.
And they're like,
Well-
I haven't had sex with
I'll
her.
take it as Sizzler.
Is that still around?
Nah.
I love Sizzlers.
Remember Sizzler?
Or
I
Sizzler's
love
the best.
Sizzlers.
I remember-
But,
I remember
but
the-
I think they're all gone.
They were
all
going the
gone.
buffet. I remember Pizza
Oh,
Hut buffet.
man.
Yeah, that was the best. That's where you go. I'm
I
taking
used
the
to smash
Macca's.
the pasta and the
Yeah,
smash
fucking.
everything,
You're
mate.
such a typical Italian.
And the ice cream, but I had like it was dodgy pasta.
You know-
Are you talking about a sex party or the fucking Pizza Hut? Yeah, this guy's smashing the pasta.
I remember when I was younger and I went to my first Sizzler. I didn't know how it worked. You know how they have like that all you can eat meal, right? So
Yeah.
they give you the plate. And I thought, oh, how am I supposed to keep coming back? So you know what I did? I went to the bathroom and washed my plate. Because I didn't know how it worked.
You thought that's the doing
Yeah,
the right
that's
thing.
all the
Yeah,
plate that I was
yeah.
going to get.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Beautiful, man.
Oh,
Brought
that's
it hard.
awesome.
She
And
brought
then
it
when I
hard.
got
She's a
back-
keeper.
Oh my
That's
God,
it,
it
bro.
was so hilarious.
Oh,
you
no,
know?
that's
He goes,
crazy.
"Oh, why'd you go to the bathroom and wash your plate? You know, they'll just give you another plate. And I go, oh really? Hey, I was probably like 14 or something.
all right. God bless
We didn't
ya.
know buffets.
You know, it was
Right.
our first time there, and I didn't know how it worked.
Balkan Mules, I think. Balkan Mules is the first one.
You know what's a buffet? These sex parties. Get back
Oh,
on
no,
track.
sorry, we'll get back to
Oh,
this.
sorry.
No, that's okay. Do you offer like any type of like condiments at these sex parties, like food?
Okay.
Because you can build up an appetite.
Sausage sizzle.
So what I do is I do like a candy bar. You know, like lots
yes,
of sugar.
you did. Yes, okay.
Lots of sugar. You know, because people need energy.
Of course.
You know, maybe a bit of, you know, just more like snacks sort of thing.
Oysters,
not like a full
aphrodisiacs.
5-course
You can't
dinner.
sit and have a freaking chicken Kiev man and go fuck for like 2 hours. Dude.
Exactly, yes.
Out of all things, chicken Kiev. Cut it open, all the goodness comes out. You bad
Garlic,
man.
garlic and butter. Hey, everyone's breathing.
Cordon bleu. Cordon bleu.
What I suggest
Everyone's
to
just
the
doing doggy.
people,
Sorry.
Can't handle the
It's all right.
smell.
Just imagine that. Just get all Janas and go to a sex party.
It probably
Fuck.
work afterwards.
No.
well, you know what I
probably would eat
suggest.
that.
What I suggest to the people is like make sure that you eat beforehand, because all we'll have is just like finger food.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have like a full-on big meal and then you have
Pineapple.
sex.
You want pineapple. You have some pineapple. I swear to God.
carbs,
I've
mate.
had people and
Protein.
only find out after, you know, they ate too much and they had food poisoning, and guess what? The sheets.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
So then
like,
can
oh
you-
my God.
Let's get into this.
This is getting into the sheets. So that's
That's the reality of sex parties, you know.
Yeah.
It's not all,
Food
oh, you go
poisoning,
there.
getting pumped and...
Oh my God.
bit
yeah.
of anal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was disgusting. So that's kind of the,
That's your
the
job
bad
too?
thing. Yes, that's my job.
So do you
I'd
mask
burn
gloves?
it.
and-
I'd burn everything down.
All
Just
right,
Where
burn
do
it.
the
so
sheets, man? They
I had
disposable?
a story at one of my earlier parties where, you know, someone got too intoxicated and she hurt herself because, you know, a champagne glass fell and she fell on top of it. Yeah. So after that incident, I said no more glassware in the bedrooms because it's just
idea.
too dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And especially because a lot of them, because sometimes they're so nervous that they drink before the party, and then when they get there, they'll drink some more. But I don't know what they do before the party,
Yeah.
right? So I do stress to them, don't be too intoxicated. But, you know, I'm not the drunk police. You know,
But a lot of
I'm-
them need alcohol though. Like
Exactly,
you
just
know,
a
A
little
little
bit.
bit, just to loosen
but just
up.
not,
Imagine
but just not
non-alcoholic.
too much.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So, like literally, my whole night was just washing blood-soaked sheets. You know, because I couldn't just put it in the washing machine because you know blood doesn't really wash it out. So I had to like
Oh my
all
goodness.
night.
Nappy sand.
Couldn't you just
Oh
throw
my
them out,
God.
buy them at Kmart, get cheap
No,
ones?
this was like at a hotel,
Oh, okay.
right? And I didn't want to lose my bond.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. See, that's a shame.
And they're good sheets too at the hotels.
Oh
bro.
yeah,
bad, and they're always
really
white.
good.
They're always
Quality sheets.
Ironed in.
You should take a bond from everyone, I reckon.
Well, you know, that's why my you know, it's ticketed. You know,
Yeah.
for things like that.
How much
And-
does it cost?
all right.
How much
well,
are we talking about here?
now for a sex party, the market value is around like 150
Oh, that's
to
cheap.
$200.
That's cheap.
That's-
Bro,
couple.
Dude,
I've got enough for 5 now. Can I buy 60? I'll buy
Can you hook
5
me up your
tickets.
300 on you?
Bro, don't worry. Right
That
now,
is-
just give me.
That is though, when you think of like some place to
150
go
for a
and they bring
suck and
alcohol,
fuck.
you're paying $50 for alcohol. Just say, you know, so that's a.
I'm
That's
a bit,
for couples,
not a-
though.
I'm a bit vulgar
That's
there.
for couples.
I said 150
That's
for a
for
sucker. That's a
couples.
bit.
So about
that's unfair.
150 to 200.
How about for single men?
Let's-
600.
Let's do
$100.
single women first.
Okay.
Single
$100.
women because I want to encourage the single women.
Me
to
too.
come, right? Because you know, without the women, what's it going to be? A gangbang.
Well, I don't want
You know?
Greek
It's
gonna
Roman.
be-
I
it's
don't
gonna-
want
I
Greek,
mean, unless you're bi and you don't
Greek
mind.
Roman wrestling, man. I'm not. You know, that's the thing.
Odysseus.
Blue Oyster Bar here. At, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I
okay.
wouldn't-
How much
no.
was it? 50
So
bucks?
single women is around 50 to 75. It just
Awesome.
depends. You know, I usually have like, you know, first release tickets and then final tickets because I want to encourage people to actually buy the tickets pretty early.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know what they're doing, you know, during that time. So they'll normally get it, you know, pretty late, sometimes on the night. You know,
Okay.
So I have to make sure that, you know, that I screen them properly and then I'll send them the ticket link.
Yep.
Now, for the single men, I know it's not fair, but I actually charge them a lot more.
No, that's all right.
Because guess what? There's a lot of single men that wants to come to the
Yeah,
parties.
of course. That makes sense.
All right.
Of
You
course,
know,
you
there's
gotta.
there's a
I
lot of
find that
demand.
just as, you know,
There's
just-
a
There
lot
would
of
be.
demand.
And you got to screen out the shikans.
Exactly.
You have to.
I
I'm going to
have
say,
to.
Lucy, you have to screen them out, bro.
Like if I didn't care about quality and all I wanted was quantity,
Yeah.
and yes, I would be accepting a lot
Nah,
more.
you don't want that. That's
You get the rat.
disgusting.
You
Nah.
get the rat.
You have
That's
to
why
protect
people
the
go to
couples.
my parties because they know that, you know, okay, but it's unrealistic to have everyone, you know, within your standards. You know, as long as the majority is in a high standard, then I'm happy with that.
And you got the couples too. Like you got to take that to account
Right.
because that's
yes.
their couples, right?
Exactly. And you can't split them up.
No, you don't want to send
And-
in like a bunch of
And as you know, and you've probably noticed this, and I'm talking about generally, you know that in every couple, there's always one person who's a lot more attractive than the other.
Okay.
The one
Now, the
punch-
majority of
one
the places, majority of couples, most of the time, the women are the one who is more attractive.
Oh,
I'm talking
beautiful.
about physically.
I love these parties already.
Alright.
This is good.
That's
punch. Oh,
why.
we're a cameraman.
That's why,
We
as a
really should.
man, you'd be in heaven.
Yeah.
Now, but as a woman, not so much, because if I was a couple with someone and my partner was, you know, just normal, let's just say average, you know, and then I don't want to go to a party and fuck someone else's average husband.
No, fuck that. I want to stud. I want to stud.
And you know how I do that?
She gets stud single men.
Exactly.
You're a smart woman.
Exactly. And
You're a
that's why.
goddess. This is beautiful, bro. I swear to God.
Because I know how women work. I know how male works.
tall,
Yeah,
Clark
yeah.
Kent looking motherfucker. I swear to God. Why not chiseled?
And,
Why
you know,
not?
some
6
people
foot
may
plus,
not
6
agree
foot
with
plus.
that.
I would.
But you
Fuck
know
it.
what? It's my party.
That's it.
Yes.
So if you want to do your own party, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do your own party, I
do
dare
your
you
own
to.
party, I
But
dare
that's
you
my
to.
party and they're
My
my
party, no one's going to show up, bro.
Find your own house. I'll show up too.
Now-
Me and
I'm
you,
sure.
Greek
The
wrestling.
thing with because there are a lot of organizers in the party scene that are male.
Yes.
Now, and the reason why a lot of the male want to do their parties is because they want to have sex, right?
Yeah.
That's why people go to my parties, because they know, one is that I'm a woman,
Yep.
and so the women, that's who I'm attracting, because I can get any guy to go to the parties.
Of course.
You know, I'm not worried about the guys. I'm worried about the women. I want women to come to my parties. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel comfortable, you know.
And treat her like a young goddess.
Exactly.
Well, you want them to
know?
feel safe and comfortable, yeah? Simple as
Exactly.
that, man. And there's a way that you have to bring that out. You can't, it takes a, you know.
So they know that they can come to me and that they can talk to me. And if I was a male organizer,
Yeah, it's
maybe they
different.
won't feel that much.
No, you'd be banging them all
Ex-
afterwards.
No, not always. No,
Well,
you
not
find
all of
something.
them,
Nah,
but-
okay, we're not all bad, man.
No, but well, the guy that runs the party.
Yeah.
Not saying like if I was to run a party,
I wouldn't
like
wanna
you.
run a sex party.
You
It's
know,
not
I've got
my
my
thing,
feminine
but-
side. I'd come talk to me, but I wouldn't want to fuck them. It's business. There'll be guys in there that use that as a way to
Yeah,
satisfy their own
manipulators.
Yes.
personal
Manipulators, man. But also husbands that
needs.
go
Like Epstein
there.
Island, mate.
Yeah, too
There
far.
are some organizers that, you know, have said, if it wasn't because of my parties, I probably wouldn't have sex.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them do go to, you know, I'm not going to say any names, but, you know, there are some in the lifestyle that do the parties because they just can't get any women.
Yeah. There
And
you
the way
go,
they
dude.
get the women is for them to go to the parties.
That's right.
Why is
It's
it
like
so
the
hard-
producers of Hollywood, man.
What's
That's like
going
the
on?
music
Like,
industry.
why is it so hard to get women all of a
P.
sudden?
Diddy.
What's going on with this world? I've been
Well,
in the dating game for ages.
This is
What's
where I
going
went back
on?
to the young couple I saw at this pub. You know, I'll go back to that. Well, you asked that question. There's this balance, man. The women are strong. I find the women in 20s, even younger, they're strong women. The men are just like, he's sitting there going,
Not me, bro. I've not done it in my life.
no, of course, because you're like, you
I'm
know,
an alpha.
you're like
I'm
the
an oak. I'm an
you're
oak.
the Serbian oak.
I'm an oak,
You're
mate.
strong and
That's it.
solid and a lot of hair. You're just like a
You're
Greek,
jealous. Look at your. Yeah.
Greek god you are. I'm not jealous, man. I own this. Is you know, grass isn't growing on a busy
I'm
street,
just.
man.
I want to bring it back to. I'm just a bit disappointed in the males. I've actually got a
Yeah.
question to ask you. We'll get back to it in a moment.
It's disappointing,
Have you
Stodge.
noticed the stamina? That there's different stamina between the fit. I'm not gonna say fit. Sorry, the younger generation. So no more, bro. No
Okay.
more. So from the young stud party, whatever it is, and then the old 40s. Like, are you noticing a big
Yes.
stamina difference?
Good question,
Yeah.
Stodge. Good question. That's why he's here. I love him.
Well, you know, a lot of the males in the parties, regardless of which one it is, they realize, because I've had ones who are very, very new in the scene. And for an example is I have a young guy that went to one of my parties. It was his very first time. And he was speaking to me halfway through. He goes, now I realize why a lot of men actually take Viagra or Camagra, you were saying?
Camagra, yeah, it's a
Cialis.
Cialis.
Yeah.
It's good for the
Even
heart.
the injection. What's the injection
I don't know,
one?
bro. I've never done
It's
this
when you
stuff before.
inject right in there.
Man, I'm just like this all night, bro. Let's go.
Oh, because you're Serbian.
It's
Sorry.
because, you know, as a male, you have sex, you come. And then it takes you a while to regenerate.
Yeah, man, I've noticed that. When I was younger, it used to just like
Kick
this,
in
but
straight
now,
away.
nah, bro. Now minimum 45 minutes.
Really? 45?
Now, if you take one of those things, you'll probably stay hard. And if you're in a sex party,
That's
of
hectic.
course you're there. If you're lucky, you'll do, multiple women if they consent,
It's amazing.
right? But if
That's
you're
our
if
dream.
you're just one hit wonder, right?
No.
Then you feel like
Go
oh,
home. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
well,
We
that's
gotta learn
how
how
he
to-
felt. That's how he
Yeah,
felt. So
yeah.
he said, "Oh, now I know. Next time, I'm gonna take something."
Control yourself, but
Well,
go
just-
to the point and stop.
We'll just don't beat off for a few weeks.
Well, that too
Blue
can work.
ball yourself. Get in there. And
Yeah, but I'll drown someone.
I'll
I'll drown
That's
someone.
your first load.
I'll just
After
drown.
that,
Yeah,
you'll be
but I'm
fine.
done. It's even more intense. I'm finished, bro. I gotta go to hospital.
But that's where Jade comes in. That's where Jade. Oh, we're out.
Wow, you drank too much.
I drank too.
What?
That's
You
all
drank her vodka cruises?
Would you like? Would you like it? Do you try this?
No, I've still got this.
So okay, here's the
is
thing.
great.
So
So, okay.
so look, I
Water
think
then?
that the older men are going hard because they
All right.
they're used to the Viagra and stuff.
Yes.
What I want to understand is, have you noticed? Because obviously you're watching your clientele, they're fucking and sucking and everything. I love saying fucking and sucking together. So
Doing
are you
both?
Hey,
know?
what about cuddles? What about aftercare?
Oh, I love the aftercare.
No, aftercare is important.
I love
we'll
the.
probably have to talk
after,
about that.
Yeah, aftercare is the best.
All right, but my question
Yeah.
mainly
All right,
is:
yes.
have you noticed that?
Sorry,
That's
Stodgy.
okay. You have my full consent.
Soft hands. He's got soft hands.
So who has better sex, the young ones or the older ones? Who's like going
All
there and
right.
enjoying themselves more? And
That's a
actually,
fucking-
how about the young males versus the older males? Like, who's
Can I-
actually performing better?
Are the
I
young
should have a
ones?
survey.
The young ones are quicker, but go quick. The
Not
young ones are
necessarily.
harder, but go quicker.
All right.
And the guys, the older ones are.
Here's
somewhat
the
of a-
difference because obviously when I'm at the parties, I'm too busy doing back end stuff.
Back end.
Back end
Counselling
stuff.
and pumping up
Yes.
freaking mattresses.
Exactly, and making sure the condoms are
And plug,
fully
unplugging.
replenished, and there's no condoms everywhere, and
Imagine that.
yeah.
Workers' comp.
So what I do notice is that with the older parties, they do tend to finish up earlier. So for
tired.
You're
example,
tired, dude.
That's good.
So for example, and that's how I kind of time it. So on Friday nights it starts at 8:30 and can go up to 3 a.m. And my last party went up to 6 a.m.
I'm
There was
done.
still
I'm
people.
home.
that the
11
older
a.m.
ones?
No, this is the young
Oh.
ones.
11 p.m. I'm going home. I don't care. See you
Yeah.
later. I'm
Well,
out.
30.
The older ones, they tend to start earlier. So I usually started at 7:30.
That's a good time to have sex.
That's
7:30.
like you fill the belly about an hour before
and then
that.
they probably leave around 12.
Yeah, that's perfect. No, that's good.
That's good. I like
And it's
that.
good
good
for
night.
me too because when it happens on a Saturday night, then I can like pack up and clean up a lot earlier. So for the next day, you don't have much to do.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
So-
2 parties back
Yeah,
to back.
that's right.
Yeah, finish it.
What I want to get to now is like these young men. Do they know how to fuck? This is a serious question.
Nick! no.
No, I don't care. But
this
do
is-
they know?
I
Because
love
they're
that
watching.
question.
They're watching porn. Do they know how to twist their hips, roll this, move this, grab that, hold this, kiss here, or they just doing these ones the whole
And
time? I wanna know.
selfish. Are they
Well,
giving?
that's the thing with sex parties, right? There's really no time for aftercare. All right, there's no time to cuddle.
That is true because
Right.
that was in that
But
situation.
you can hold the
There's
passionate
no-
moment through the lovemaking.
Yeah, but it's a quick and leave because you got people knocking at the door. You got to release the bed. You can't get cuddle time.
Nah, I don't agree, man. I don't agree. I agree. Even during the action, you can still make the person feel cared for.
Of course, but the aftercare cuddle.
I know. I'm not talking about aftercare.
You got people lined
all
up
right.
at the door. They want the bed.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot.
You feel like a whore. You want to sit.
It's like a deli ticket. But what I want to know
Sorry,
is
sorry, Jay.
no, but
Hey,
I'm a
I've heard all
comedian.
this
I'm a
before.
comedian.
Yeah, yeah, that's-
But what I want to understand is, do these younger men know how to fuck?
All right, now at a sex party, it's a little bit different than doing it one-on-one,
Okay.
right? Because sex parties, it's pretty much you just have sex there with multiple people, if you want to.
That's what they go in there to know what to do.
Exactly.
That's it. Just fucking. So
Right.
I reckon they're Woody Woodpeckers. Fucking done.
there's
See
no
that?
pleasure
in it. Rest.
But is there any love?
There's no pleasure in
Is
that.
there love? Like, does the female get the pleasure, or is the pleasure them knowing that they've just made the guy ejaculate and he's off to the next one?
Well, I've asked this with a lot of men. I always ask them, "Oh, how many times have you had sex? How many girls have you had sex? Did you come? A lot of them say, you know, I've had, you know, 3 girls, I had 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever the number is, but they don't come at each time.
No, of course not. You
Sometimes
can't.
they don't even come at all. Sometimes they only come once, usually at the end or in the beginning.
You find the
Yeah,
one that you want to
see?
come with, so you're like, I'm going to track it to that person.
But after you've come like once or twice and you just hear in the like that's
That's
it.
when we start commentating.
Well, since you're on Viagra, you're up, so you just
Well,
might as well
that's the
get your
thing,
cock
right?
sucked.
That's the thing, right?
Why not?
The thing is, I come back to it's like, I don't know, some people might enjoy the whole adrenaline, the thrill out of it, but for the men, it's just going for a straight ejaculation. It's like,
For
again,
the older men.
but
maybe.
I think maybe the younger men are going for straight I don't know. That's what I'm asking the question, like how they fucking like taking their time.
Well,
going,
they're not
enjoying
ejaculating.
themselves.
Maybe once or twice out of
Yeah.
6, 7.
I need to see.
I want
this.
to. I want to finish the job with a woman, and when she goes, you can come now. Bang.
But yeah.
Some of them won't come.
But there's no point. That's
You know, like they'll have sex with one girl, you know, she may or may not come, and then, you know, they're still hard, but they haven't come, so then they go to the next person. So it's pretty much like
yeah.
that,
That's how it is, man.
right? You're probably best to talk to a guy that does a lot of sex parties.
Yeah.
You know, and why he goes to sex parties.
Yeah, but that makes sense though. I get it.
Right.
But being witnesses of a
I'd
few
love
of
to
them,
maybe
like,
get maybe one of your clients on if they want to talk. I'm being serious, like, why not?
Don't worry, I've got a
Mate,
whole
And then I'd love
list.
to just understand more because, like, my sexual experiences are very different to this, and just Woody Woodpecker, I've never done that. I don't do that.
yeah, but this is like this
Minimum
goes
45,
to like
25
okay, so
minutes.
the older generation, the older crowd.
All right. What I do
That
find
would be
with the
different.
older one, there's actually a lot more couples.
There you go.
in the
It's more intimate, man. It's
Because
more-
a lot of them are
Once or twice,
in
mate.
relationships or they've been married for a long time, and to bring back excitement
Yes.
in their
Yeah.
sexual life, they'll open up their relationship and go to sex parties. Now there is a lot of dynamics. You know, a lot of them will do a full swap, which means that, you know, a couple will connect with another couple and they fully swap with each other. Maybe not the men to the men, but more the women to the men. There's also ones they do soft swap, which means that only the girls are playing with each other and the men play with their own wives or their
Okay,
own
that's
partners.
interesting.
I like that. That's pretty.
I don't
sexy.
like that, but okay. I would never. I couldn't.
But it just really depends
as a couple, man. That's what I'm
on
saying, you know?
their arrangement. You know, obviously, you need to talk about that. If you have a
course.
couple, you have to say, okay, we're going to a sex party. What are our rules? What are our boundaries? Because if you don't talk about that, that's when shit happens.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
divorce
during the
should take your
party,
superannuation.
I've seen that. Like I said, I
After the
witnessed
party,
it. Yep.
before the party, and that's where, you know, trust is broken, or they become disillusioned, or they never go to a sex party, or they might start cheating, or whatever. You know.
Do you know a lot of marriages that have been that have
Yeah,
been
there's
damaged
a
from
lot
that?
of ones where, you know, they go to a sex party, they try it out, something happens, or they, you know, they don't like it, and they're not together anymore. You know, I don't really ask questions. Or when I screen the couples, they don't tell me what their relationship is. I don't know if they're like married or if they're play partners or if they're cheating on their, you know,
Yeah.
their partners. I don't ask any of that questions because it's really not my business. You know, I just want them to come, have a good time, bring, you know, leave your drama at home.
Yeah, there was young couple I met when I went there as a single, and she was cool. She said there's places for guys to go and do their sexual thing, you know, brothels, whatever,
Oh yes,
but no places for females. And
Exactly.
she let him have a threesome or
All
whatever.
right.
Now it's her turn,
Oh, okay.
and he was very fine. He was fine with that.
Yeah, well, that's all it
Yeah.
is.
I couldn't imagine that.
Communication.
Well,
That's just how I am.
Yes,
I'm just,
of course.
yeah, yeah.
And that's
Well,
your
this is-
boundary.
yeah.
I'm not going to judge other people, but I
It was
could not
amazing
imagine
to
that.
witness to, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Oh.
I spoke at one of your the meet and greet. I spoke
Mm-hmm.
to a couple, sitting next to a married couple, and I was next to someone I knew as a friend. She was there, and he wanted to involve her.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little bit left out, to be honest.
You know, but I'm just thinking,
I
let's
was
say,
like, dude, wait a sec.
we go to one of these things there as a single male, and you have a couple there. I don't know how I would feel having sex with another man's wife with him there.
Thank
That's
you
how.
for
That's,
saying.
yeah.
This is so when the first one, I was taught the rules, you know, and it was like, I've had girls talk to us, but I felt wrong.
Okay.
Because they're saying that's my partner or my husband, and saying I felt wrong, so I was a little bit reserved.
Yeah.
You know, and then I got to understand. Then obviously, second time I went, I was a single bloke. Then I went again as a couple, but I didn't do nothing. I was like, okay, I get it.
So what are the
There was
rules? Tell me more.
There's a lot of couples there, and in the third time there's like a lot of couples, and they had the chains. You can watch. You can't join in, but you can watch.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
So this guy, a gorgeous woman, mate, giving a blowjob, and I'm there watching from behind. Always like, this is
That's not a bad thing to watch.
Yeah, but he was the one enjoying it.
Yeah. There
20
are
plus
some.
minutes, man. Like, it was good watching. I was like, dude, I'm out of here. You know, there's only so much you can watch. It's only without
Wanting to
getting
join.
involved.
Why didn't you join in?
Well, they had the chain. They had the
Yeah,
chain.
so that
The
normally
chain, you can't go in the room.
happens-
She started knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I can't. Well, it was just there, and yeah.
That's kind of like an unsaid rule.
Mm.
So at the sex clubs, they do have rooms that are open.
Mm.
But if they've got a chain there, that means you just can't step in.
Which I found it quite nice in a weird way to them.
So for them, it's more about the voyeuristic.
Yeah, okay.
sort
Put a,
of
put a
Sweetheart,
traffic
watch.
cone.
Sweetheart, tonight let's go to a swingers party and we'll just fuck and be with ourselves like a date.
I
we
could
have sex
imagine
and
that.
people can watch us
I could imagine
enjoying
that.
our sex,
I
and
can-
that they were getting off at just being watched, and it's like,
Yeah,
watch us
and
have
there's some
sex.
couples are like that.
And they were so in love with each other. It was quite beautiful.
That I
watched
can
them, I was like,
I
this
can
is
imagine
nice.
that. I can imagine that.
And then they had bondage room where I was just slapping and
No, I don't like that.
you know, that was a whole different ball game. But upstairs where they had the open beds, there was couples who enjoyed themselves, and it was a lot of people just watching.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
a
what
lot
it
of
was,
people
yeah.
like to watch.
And a lot of single ladies were there. There was a young crowd. You can tell they're a bit nervous. But yeah, it was amazing to see. You should come along. Maybe I'll bring you
I
along.
will. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
serious.
go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I would
But you
love
have
to
to be
witness
accepted
this.
first.
Yeah, you got to be accepted.
Because,
Yeah, of course.
you know, for single men, it is pretty hard to get
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Would I get
know?
accepted? I mean,
Well, I
like,
got
is this-
accepted once, but they do. It depends how many girls they've got and the balance.
Exactly.
Of
Would you
They
accept-
have to have a, balanced ratio. I
Would
always
you
have
accept me? If you had a balanced ratio, would you accept me?
Just say yes. Don't
No,
embarrass
be
me.
honest. Like, tell me yes or
Embarrass
no.
him.
I don't know. It depends on which party.
There we go.
There you go.
She didn't say no.
No, she didn't say
She
no.
didn't say no.
I'm not applying for any of them now.
But I did see there was a single guy. I remember another bloke. He was just walking around. You can see he was so nervous. He didn't get his shirt off. He just walking around with drinks.
And that's fine too.
And that's fine. You do get those. You've got single girls that just congregate together.
Yes.
They wouldn't look at you, so they're nervous. They're just there to experience it. Then you got the South American bloke.
I'm not South American, mate.
I don't know. I swear he was, mate, this guy. He was a character.
Yeah, there are some single men there that go, that maybe they feel nervous. Maybe they don't even, participate, but they like to watch. Or they're just so nervous they can't get up as well. And I've had that.
Yeah, of course that
Yeah,
happens.
there's that
Right?
too.
That's normal.
Because, like I
nerve-wracking.
said, for a man, it's more obvious, right? And
Yeah.
especially if you're feeling so overwhelmed. Because for some of these people, it is something new. And it's like, oh my God, normally you have sex just with one person, maybe a very small group. But if you have, like, for example, 150 people,
Oh, that's crazy.
so if
That's
you
a
can
club,
imagine,
dude.
everyone's, like, you think everyone's watching you and watching your performance.
But they're
Of
probably not.
course.
It's a very big self-esteem.
Some
really.
people don't want that sort of thing. They like just small
One-on-one.
one-on-ones
Or little
group play.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is anyone getting judged there? No one's getting judged.
No,
Well,
that's
that's
what's
the
so
thing.
good about
No
it.
one's
dude.
getting judged.
Yeah, that's
They
that's
shouldn't
what's-
be judged.
yeah.
No.
You can go there as a couple and just sit and talk.
But you will be
don't
judged when
do-
I screen you.
That's right.
I'm
She's
not
going to
even.
screen you, Stodge.
I'm not even going to apply.
Screen
I don't
you.
want to. This is
you don't
no.
need-
She's already told me
you
no.
You don't need to. Okay, I'll get you in the house.
No,
of Blasius.
this is
Now,
our butler.
if you've got if you have a value or a benefit, then yes. For example, the people that work for me, like if you give good massages or if you're qualified,
I do good massages actually.
right?
You don't need to go for the system. You just go for the...
Like, for example, so I have one, I do have a massage therapist already that does all my parties. But my last sex party that I had, someone actually approached me because one of my DJs went to a festival and he saw someone who was massaging everybody. And he contacted me because my DJ told him about my parties. And I said, he looked pretty good. He told me that he does massages and he was qualified. And he was actually from Queensland. So I said, okay, I'm willing to trial you out, see how you go. So he drove all the way from Queensland just to attend the party. And he was amazing. And now, I'm probably going to accept him to all my parties because he's, I had
That's
good
nice.
feedback with
Yeah.
him, and he
Perfect.
was very respectful.
Yeah.
Of course, if you can do something for me, then I can do something
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, that's good.
Respect is the key one here.
Exactly.
It is, and like we said, helping each other too. Like Red Hot Pie, right? They sponsor you.
Yes, so they sponsor all my events. They give me merchandise, so they don't actually pay me to do the parties, but they promote my parties in their platform.
Okay.
And most, like I've mentioned this before, so most of the people that actually attend my parties are from Red Hot Pie, and of course my Instagram. And so I advertise there. I also do a bit of live streaming. So sometimes I'll do a live stream of my parties. Now I don't show people having sex.
Oh, but show people having fun. Like, hey, how are you?
So what I normally do is when I do my live stream, I just obviously have it on me. And some of my friends, they don't mind being seen. So, sometimes they'll be naked in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Of course I like that
there's a
because
lot.
it's promoting my parties. And people who are watching me say, oh my God, I want to go to your parties, Jade. How do I get in? So that's like, they don't pay me to do the live stream, but it's more like a promotion
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
And
you
I
make-
love live stream.
do-
That's one of my kinks.
Do you find it's growing, the industry?
Oh, well, it's going a little bit more mainstream. Like back like 10 to 20 years ago, a lot of the swingers were more in the older, 50s and 60s, that now they're becoming
Yeah,
very young,
18,
like in
like
their
you said.
20s.
Well, that's that's
know?
That's what I mean. It is coming out like a lot of
Yeah.
porn, selling dildos, vibrators online. Mm-hmm. It's
Big
So
fuckers too,
it is
bro.
becoming a lot more mainstream.
Which is fine, but it's just got to be tamed,
Yeah.
Like it's just got to go to Jade's sex parties where
Exactly.
it's tamed and she
Well,
looks
got to
after
go
you.
sign up to Red Hot Pie. I can
have a
vouch
look.
that
Are
that's
you guys
actually.
on Red Hot Pie?
I was.
I've
I
heard of
was.
it. No, I was just.
I'm no
Tinder,
longer.
Hinge and
I'm no
Bumble.
longer on that website. I can't be obviously because
Yeah.
in a relationship. But I was on Red Hot Pie for a little while. It's a fantastic site.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so you're a veteran, are you?
I was for a little while.
He's an expert.
He's an expert.
We'll
And you thought you'd come here for accounts.
We'll talk
and
more after that.
strategy.
We'll talk more after the podcast, mate. This is going to be the next chat will be on our Patreon, where you where you can
Subscribe.
subscribe. This Raki is strong. Where you can subscribe for $15.95, and you can find out about Stodger's sex parties.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. Stop just-
what's good about Red Hot Pie is because you have the dating side of it where you can hook up, whatever. You get a date
there's events.
finder. You find someone to hook up with. It's more about alternative arrangements and alternative relationships. Obviously, if you're monogamous in a good relationship, you don't need Red Hot Pie. It's for those other ones that want to explore their
Kinky
their
side.
sexual. Yeah, exactly. Right?
Exploration of
And
space.
so they have the dating side of things, but they also have forums.
Yeah.
They also have the parties, and they also have the live streaming, and that's what I like, because it promotes my parties.
I've seen your poster on that site before years ago.
Oh, really?
There we go. There we go. He's obsessed. No,
That's it.
Yeah,
I
I
have to go
actually
back.
did a live stream on my social event. So I just had my social event on Friday. So no sex happens there, but it's usually, just a lot of people getting together. It's an opportunity
That's
for people
nice.
to get together. Now there's like 3 or 4 types of people that go to my social events. They know it's not a sex party. But the first sort of people is ones that, they have a hotel or they have a home that, so their goal is to go there, find someone that they want to hook up with, and then leave.
Yeah,
So when I see people go home together, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like me finding workers work.
Right. And then the
It's the
second
same
people
shit.
are ones who,
From the Philippines.
just get people's phone numbers and maybe they want to hook up later on.
Yeah.
Or there's ones that just want the vibe. They just want to drink cocktails.
Yeah.
And because I've got my DJs there, so they want to dance. So,
What
a
type of
whole
music you
heap.
playing?
Well, the thing is, I always tell my DJs to do songs that, at the start, it's loungy music.
Yeah.
Because, it's not a rave party.
Nah.
it's a place where you can actually talk to people.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you can't talk to people when there's loud
Play some
music coming
jazz.
It was really good. I had a few
Right.
couples. I saw young
What
couples.
was this, bro?
in. This was in Broadway, the one that he went to.
Yeah.
Oh, this would have
a
been
year
at least
maybe?
a year ago.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
while ago, but it was good. It was really
I
good.
do mine at Chippendale
Yeah.
now, so which is really good because everything is all in one space.
Yeah, it's nice. You should go. You take your missus out. You pay the ticket, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And you got food and stuff, and you got
Yes.
entertainment.
Oh, they've got amazing food.
Yeah. We
That's
gotta
what
go.
I love
Can we get
about
to
it.
another one?
Let's go. Like I said, we'll go.
Cocktails.
Do I have to get screened for a social?
Do we have to be a
No,
gay
I've already
couple?
seen you.
Yeah,
so let's-
you're fine,
Social.
dude.
Let's go to a social.
We'll go
event.
there. We'll take the cameras.
I did,
and-
I did,
I wanna
offer for you
experience-
guys to
Oh,
go
no,
on
we will.
Friday,
Well, yeah,
but
but
now
wait,
the next time.
the next time.
I would
the next
like to
time,
go
you let us
experience
know.
one of these social events because
We will.
I like you as a strong businesswoman. Now, and a business acumen
true.
entrepreneur.
He's
No, I'm
right.
being serious. And
He's
as
been-
funny as I am,
He's
I'm,
the
I'm-
oak now.
Sorry.
He's
You're
been the
right.
oak. Don't
Now-
touch her. Don't touch her.
Sorry, I
No,
just
it's okay.
You're right.
I think so.
I will eat you alive and I'll break that gimp arm. This is getting a bit
See, mate,
crazy.
see, okay, he's
Hey, see
aggressive.
what's coming out.
He's so aggressive. Look,
See
he
what's-
holds a cup now. It holds a cup.
Listen, I want to ask. So, what is it that you? What are you trying to achieve here? No, what are you trying to achieve? You are achieving something. So, what is it that you want to achieve? Why are you doing this? And what do you enjoy about it?
Ever since I was younger, I always loved having, doing parties. Obviously not sex parties, but, I like being social, I like networking, and I like dressing up. And now that I'm a lot older and I can do that, and I get paid for it, I mean, that's the best thing. Yeah. And I do like it when people come together. You'll find that people in the lifestyle are more welcoming, they're more friendlier, and they know about consent, right? Like, how I mentioned to you, I go to a club, everyone's touching your butt, no consent whatsoever.
This is better.
And in the mainstream, you can see this now, like the difference. You go to a normal pub or a club, everyone's in their little groups, and it's really, really hard to get into that group without them saying, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've got a boyfriend, That doesn't happen in a lifestyle event. People are more like, oh, hey, how are you? They want to know
Like-minded
about
people.
you.
Like-minded.
Yes, maybe they want to fuck you, but...
Oh,
but don't come up front. It's done in a way. It's so
exactly,
open.
because
Yeah.
everything
okay,
is
but you know,
transparent.
Yeah.
All you have to
respect.
do is say, "Oh, look, I'm not interested, but let's talk some more."
Yeah.
Or say, if they say, "Oh, do you want to go somewhere, or do you want to, can I get your number?" You just have to say no, but
That's
they'll still keep
It's
talking
more
to
open.
you.
It allows them to be more
Exactly,
open. And
and
couples and stuff.
they're more welcoming.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the lifestyle. Like for me, I'm not really much of a participant. I'm more of an observer, but I just like the vibe,
Yeah. It is a good vibe.
right? It is.
it's fun.
It is
People
Like,
have
I'm not
fun.
saying that everyone is 100% like that, but majority are.
But you don't have to go there have sex too.
No, and that's
Like
the
you can
thing.
just go
I
there
reckon
just
that'd be
on a
awesome.
Saturday night for 150, whatever it is for a couple, whatever it is. You go there, you have a nice drinks, you speak to you openly and feel free, no insecurities.
I think you'd have
right?
better conversations too.
You do,
Oh,
mate. It's
And,
open.
but the thing is, it's an eye open. I think it's a very crazy experience. Yeah, sure.
Like,
It
I mean,
is, man, and it's more open.
150 people.
well, I have this couple.
That's a lot, though.
A lot of people,
Yes.
this couple is like stunning. Like they're both
Let's
really
meet
good
them.
looking. All right. But what I've noticed is I've never seen them play at my sex
So
parties.
that's why they're so sexy.
right.
That's why they're so sexy.
Clark Kent.
And I did ask them. I said, what are your dynamic, They say that they're more like the private ones. So what they do at the sex parties is, they go there for the vibe.
Yeah.
And if they see someone that they like, they get their, contact details. And then they do things privately, not really in a party situation.
No, that's sexy.
But they like going there because
Yeah.
they like the vibe. They know everyone's welcoming and they're hot.
Yeah, and,
You know?
and who do they pick to take back to their
Yeah,
place and,
and-
put the lotion on?
Exactly.
Hello, Clarice.
Put
Why
the
not?
lotion on now.
Yeah, so, and some couples are like that, and
Yeah.
that's okay too. And
Yeah.
then there's some couples that go there that just play with other couples, and then there's couples there, as soon as they get there, they separate.
Yeah.
But that's their arrangement.
Man, I'd play for everyone. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd play for everyone.
Well, you got to find the right woman to go.
Exactly.
Hey.
No,
Who will say yes?
So there's no
You have to.
insecurities.
Yeah,
there's
you
none
have
of that
to.
stuff. You know,
And
do
you-
you have a good night, sweetheart? Good. Mwah. See you later.
Well, it's pretty much
I'm
like
off this
that.
way.
I know one
but-
couple like that.
Yeah.
But let's get to
Sexy.
that. You see that right at the end there. You slap the ass right at the end.
Yeah.
Not at the beginning. It's like you know this person.
At
You
the-
slap.
yeah.
You slap in their ass. You never know them. You have sex. You do the thing. You make the contact, and after, thank you very much. I think
Yes.
that's a nice
You
thing.
see him during the night and go with another bloke, you slap him.
You know, but these guys here, you're walking past, they're slapping your ass. What is this stuff?
No,
That's disgusting.
dude. That's disgusting. Yeah,
It's all about consent.
Consent. I was just going to say.
Consent sexy. I'll say it
You
again.
don't do that for the sake of it. When you get to know the person, you can,
Yeah,
the
like what
limits
they
are.
say, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a
Yeah.
fuck no. Right? They have to be really, really, they have to be saying yes.
And that's the conversation you had before. Like at the start happens, what I've been, like it takes a few hours. And then you see your son and people come down in lingerie and like, here we go.
Well,
Go
usually,
upstairs and there's...
yeah.
Oh,
So
crazy.
usually what happens, because you asked this before, so if you go to a sex party, you get there, I scan your ticket, make sure that you're feeling fine. Then you go in, you bring your drinks to the bar people, and then you have a few drinks,
Your
there's
number.
a few snacks and stuff like that. You don't get the numbers
No?
then. Because
How do you get
you have to connect
the
with
bar
people
drink?
first.
No, no, no.
What
The
type
bar
of snacks? We
Oh,
get like.
right,
the
yes,
bar
yes,
drinks.
yes,
Would we
yes,
get
of
like a
course.
couple of Ritz crackers with some cheese or
you want
You
something?
can have whatever you
You
want.
can
Yeah,
even
that'd be
have
No
salami.
cabanossi, no. You want cabanossi.
No, I don't eat cabanossi.
What about salami or pepperoni?
No, you don't want
No, that goes along with the chicken Kiev.
Some pickles.
Oh yeah, pickles are nice.
Yeah,
But,
but-
make sure you have gum or
yeah.
Oh, you got to have good
Yeah, yeah.
hygiene. Showered. Not,
Oh
is there
yes,
showers
we'll
there?
have yes, there's showers because normally they're done at a house, and the warehouses that I've
Get a
had
fucking gurney.
does have showers.
They got a gurney guy along with a mattress guy.
He's got a big rubber.
Fuck, I'll take the gurney job. With a
Fucking
water gun. Like I'm... Psh,
You're fucked.
hey? Get all the dried sperm off.
And I do have wipes. Okay.
Wipes are the best.
Wipes.
But your hygiene's
Mate,
got to be
wipes-
on point, mate.
Are they scented or non-scented?
No, I normally use the non-scented.
Yeah, the baby
ones.
ones.
Yeah, you don't want too much scented because everyone smells
Can
like
I ask you
flowers and
something? It's
shit.
like, is the bush coming back for the males or what's going
You know
on?
what? I was thinking the same.
Look at, all right,
Is
can
the
you
bush
answer,
coming
is the
back?
bush there or is it all shaved or fucking plucked
I
or
think it's all
what?
shaved, dude.
Not that I like inspect them as soon
No,
as they
inspect,
get.
but you
I
can
please
see
have a
pubes.
look?
You can see
I mean, yes,
pubes.
a lot of the men do just walk around naked.
But they got pubes or they fucking all...
Some of them do. Some of them have like a
I wanna
landing
know.
strip.
Yeah,
There you go. I
trimmed.
wanna
It's not like 1970s where you just see a little fucking stump coming out of the
But
fucking
personally,
of the Amazon, mate.
I do like them shaved.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know,
You gotta have
because
neat, mate. Neat.
as they say, no offense to you guys with beards, but
Yeah,
they
what's
do
hiding?
say that
What's hiding under there?
beards are like very dirty.
Hey. Might be trimmed.
You know, when you eat and you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
all
no,
that
it's true.
shit
Yep.
on your beard.
But I'm fine. Mine's
My I'm
But
not.
yours
My
is fine.
penis. My penis isn't
Google
eating,
it.
mate.
Just,
My
you know,
penis is
Google
not eating,
beards.
mate.
You couldn't be too hairy at that place. You got to have trimmed, man. You know.
And hair does give you a bit more odor.
Yeah, it does.
Muskiness.
Yeah.
I wash with bloody what's that squash whatever fucking
You
soap.
smelled
that,
nice
yeah,
when you
it's
came in
fucking-
today.
Yeah, it's
actually,
fucking
you
smell
fucking
beautiful. man.
showered. He's very smooth.
Fuck off, cunt.
He smelled soapy and fresh.
Doesn't smell homeless today.
No.
Go fuck yourself, Nick.
But I do love
you.
your flannelette shirt.
You
Thank
mean
you
too?
very
You know,
much.
blue goes well with you.
Shut up. You.
I
Thank
like
you.
it.
She's
We're actually
all right.
going to tell you.
You're a bad man.
She's the best. We're going to Thailand in 3 weeks.
Yes, I heard.
Right, yeah, we're gonna do some interesting stuff over there. I'm looking forward to it, boys.
You know what? Like I was saying this to you, one of my friends, my girlfriends, she has a rule. Like if she finds that someone that she dates has gone to Thailand or has gone to, with a bunch of their friends in Thailand, nah, she won't go there. Because you
won't
know
go
what happens in Thailand with
I'm going for the food
We-
and the weather.
Right.
He does food
okay,
reviews,
right.
and we're gonna do.
I
a
love
and the
Thailand.
elephants and the drugged up
monkeys.
tigers.
Yes.
I don't know. I
I
think
love
they don't
Thai-
do that anymore.
I
do
love
they?
Thailand. That place is awesome. The food is hectic.
It is good.
Are you
The
going to go
hotels are
watch
awesome.
the ping pong show?
No, that's
no, we're
disgusting.
past that shit. We're gonna go
Nah.
monks
Send
and
me a
lady
video.
boys. Monks to lady boys.
We're going to be interviewing people.
We're gonna be talking. We're taking the podcast.
Plenty of
on
lady
the
boys
road.
there. It's like a mafia.
And
Well,
there's
some
four
of
of
those
us.
lady boys, they're like stunning. They look like even better
couldn't-
than
you couldn't even
some
Well,
of
this is
tell.
what we were talking about before, right?
them. Yeah.
You'll be fine with a lady boy because you've got an attractive. It's like lesbian, but not. It's got a dick.
What?
Well, it's good, it's good for a
was saying
female,
that
right?
that's probably one of in my bucket list, a lady boy, but they have to have certain, I have standards, of course. They have to look stunning. They have to look like a woman.
Some of those lady boys do, man.
I know,
I
that's
still
what I'm
remember one
saying.
on Bangla Road. Mate,
With a dick.
They're nuts.
Mate.
Yeah, but that's what's...
I don't even know if I had a dick. Oh, if they had a
So
dick.
this is what I want to go. We want to go
But then
there
what's the
and
point?
find...
You might as well do it with a woman.
But is it gay?
I didn't do it.
If
If
a guy
anyone,
sleeps with a lady boy, is it gay?
Yeah, well, that's the...
I haven't touched a lady boy.
That's the debate
I don't
at the
judge.
moment because I've seen a lot of articles on Facebook and such things where the man is with a lady boy, and everyone's saying, oh, you must be gay, but he's saying, no, I'm not gay. He just has a dick.
This is
So I don't know.
This is what I want to find out.
I don't judge.
We're going to find out that. I want to grab some guy and just say, hey, dude, why?
oh, you'll find heaps.
We're
You'll find
going
Or
heaps.
maybe they're bi, and
Why
it's
don't you
okay
do
to be bi.
go do a sex party, one of your Bondi parties in Thailand or Bali or one of those places?
Well,
go
I have looked
overseas?
at that. I did go to Bali to research the
Oh, nice.
lifestyle. Now, the only issue with Bali is it's a very conservative
Oh
country.
yeah, not Thailand.
Yeah. Not Thailand.
Oh, Thailand is conservative,
Philippines?
but
Philippines, I don't know. That's too close to home.
Yeah.
Bangkok,
Go Filipino, you know.
Bangkok, mate.
Yeah, well.
Well,
they've had-
I've decided not to do the parties in Bali because of the risk.
Yeah.
Like you can get arrested there.
Yeah, right.
So.
Not Saudi Arabia or Dubai.
She'll never come back.
No.
She'll
never
never
come back.
She'll never come back.
Could be
You
allowed.
might be, seen in a ditch somewhere about that lady that was, it looks bad.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So,
Oh,
like
my
I'm
goodness.
I'm keeping my parties in Sydney for now, but I'm thinking about Melbourne or Queensland, but at the moment it's primarily in Sydney.
Okay, so when's your next one?
Well, at the moment I'm looking for a venue for my
Okay.
play party.
Do you have a venue?
That's why I was asking if
yeah,
you have
podcast
anything.
studio.
Let me think.
I don't know, it's a bit too
Dude.
small. I don't think 150 people would fit in.
There's
Oh,
another,
we'll
there's another
have-
studio that we can fit.
You know why I
We
bought
can
that
build
black
levels.
couch? Do you know why I bought that black couch?
All
All right.
He's sponsored.
Well,
the-
leather's good because you can wipe it clean,
That's
right?
it. He's exactly
Dude,
right.
This is the fucking... We'll find a warehouse. We'll find places.
Or, even if you've got a mansion or even like a
no.
5-bedroom apartment, no neighbors,
Top floor Meriton.
penthouse. No,
Penthouse
Processing,
I'm not
man,
going
I'm
to do it.
processing.
One
I've
thing
got places.
I've realized is I'm not going to do it at a hotel anymore. It's too risky because
You
you
gotta
get
watch those
security
sheets,
guards
man.
knocking on your door. And I've had that happen.
Really?
Yeah.
But they
That's
know
where I
what it is,
started.
though?
That's where I started. Of course they don't know. You
So
know?
wait, how did you start? So Red Hot Pie, I saw that you got...
Yeah, so the way
Let's
I
explain how we
started
started.
was I met somebody who did parties and he was asking me to go to one of his parties. This was like pretty much after COVID happened, when everything was starting to open up. And he asked me if I wanted to go to the parties, But then I thought about it and said, look, I don't really want to go to the party, but I'm happy to help out, in at the bar or whatever. And he said, oh, guess what? One of my bar people is not going to be there, so they'll be great if you can help out. So I actually volunteered at the sex party, and the first party that I've ever attended was a gangbang. So that was like a big eye-opener.
Was that one room? How's the
The
gangbang?
club had one big room, and it had a stage in the bar area, but they also had space upstairs, with beds and stuff like that. So, but the gangbang that I worked at was just all one space. So when I say gangbang, it doesn't mean just one girl and 20 guys.
Yeah.
It's more like 3 to 1, 1 female to 3 men.
That's
or
not
even
bad.
just 2 men. So
That's
for
all
example, if you've got,
I could do a
10
gangbang,
women, you might have 20 to 30 men. So that's how I started.
Yes, I couldn't do that. It's too much sausage, man.
Yeah. And some people aren't into that. But,
to me.
I also worked at swingers events, and that's more like couples and single men and single women.
Yeah. See,
And
that
I
swing
also,
is more.
Yeah. And I also have done BDSM parties.
Wow.
Now that's even...
What's that? What's that involve?
BDSM is like all the fetishes, all the kinks. So that's where it's like,
Slapping
OMG,
and
oh my God.
fisting.
Fisting up an ass, bro, up to
no,
your elbow.
I'm talking
Skull
about,
fucking.
pain
Oh.
and you know,
Putting a
really
rod
kink stuff.
erectile rod right down your fucking pee hole.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's had a contestant.
We had a contested
Trampling.
doll. Oh, no, thank
Fire play,
you.
wax play, cutting.
Oh,
Cutting. What are they doing cutting?
Well, pretty much blood.
But cut
cuts,
what, though?
Cutting
different
you know,
parts of your body.
And that's a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Dude, is
Foot
that
a lot of foot fetishes.
I don't mind foot fetish,
Foot-
alright.
you know,
foot fetish should be alright.
that's where the dom and sub
Yeah. But
comes
what's
in.
Licking some toes is alright for me.
that's okay, I get that stuff, but the cutting, isn't that to a point where where does that, like, what point do you go that's quite satanic or needs a bit, like,
Well,
how
that's
does that?
the thing. It has to be about consent, right? You
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, you know, people do hard limits, you know, where they don't do the things, but you know that can happen in the BDSM sort of space, you know. But it's all about consent.
Yeah, of
right?
course it is.
Everything. And yeah, so I've seen a lot of things like, you know, some people may call it abuse, but you know, some people like that sort of thing.
And why? What do you reckon? Being
Like,
around it,
from
what do you
what
reckon?
I've seen, and I have spoken to a lot of the women, or even the men that are into kinks, it all stems from their childhood.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. 100%. It has to, man. It's a childhood.
It could be some trauma.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is based on
is,
trauma,
dude.
or sometimes
And
it's
sexual assault. Sexual assault.
Yes, yes. Some
Yeah.
of them are, you know, when they were a child, they've seen something and they say, oh, that's interesting. And, you know, of course, for them, it's not sexual at that time, you know, but that's how it develops and that's how it evolves.
And so they'll come there and even do.
And sometimes it's not even about sex, nothing to do with sex and coming. Some of these people, it's just something that they're really into. It's really, you know, for each person who has a kink, their story is always the same, but usually it comes from their childhood. And it's actually quite
does.
interesting.
What is it? Say if a female likes it, is it like a daddy-ish?
Sometimes,
Could be.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I'll give
amazing,
you an
isn't it?
example. This is like more of the hardcore stuff. So I used to work with a girl, and she just liked being hit, you know, punched. She
Wow.
actually asked guys to punch her. A lot of the men say, no, I can't do that. But some would do it, right?
Yeah. As if
And I
full
asked
closed
her,
fist. Full punch.
like that's what she
Strangling, you
tells
get that?
them.
Strangling a lot now?
Yeah, so, and I asked her, like, you know, why do you like this sort of thing? And then she told me about her childhood, how she was sexually assaulted by a relative and things like that. So I didn't really understand because I've never been through that sort of thing. But then when I went to Bali the first time, I actually spoke to a prosecutor that was from the US, and she dealt with sexual assault and everything like that, and she became a therapist. And I was asking her about that. You know, I was saying to her that a lot of these women that likes the BDSM world, where they like the pain, they like being, you know, pretty much, you know, they get bruises on their bums and whatever, and that's what they enjoy. And I asked her, you know, is it because of their trauma when they were younger? But she actually made me realize that, and this is what she said, you know, a lot of these women did go through that, but now when they do that in the BDSM world, it's because now they have the power. They have the power to say, yes, this is what I want. Because back then, they didn't have that
dude,
power.
That's deep, man.
That's interesting.
It is. And it made me realize,
Yeah.
oh my God, you know, that's why. Because now they've got, yes, you can do this to me. Whereas before, they didn't have that. You know, they couldn't say yes or
So
no.
they go to that because it's
Because
that
now
trauma.
it's like, it's more like they've got the power now to say, no, I don't want you to do this.
And that
yes,
helps them
I
heal.
allow you.
That helps them
and
heal.
some of them helps them.
It must.
You know, and then they get out of that scene.
Yeah.
But some of them stay there for a little while.
Because it's the healing process of that
Exactly.
trauma
Because
the
now
rape
they
or
they
being
have
assaulted.
that power to say, no, I don't want you to do that.
Wow, man.
Whereas
It's like
before,
facing
they
your
never
demon.
had that.
It's like
Exactly.
facing that demon inside. Instead of hiding and going, you know, I'm fucked up from this and go for counselling, they actually go for it.
Yeah, so
And
now
go
it,
for it again,
it
but
made
consent.
me understand them more.
Wow.
You know, I didn't judge them as much. And it says, you know, they're doing that for themselves.
You're providing a
They're- yeah.
service, aren't you? Really?
Well, yes. So, and a lot of men are into the kink scene as well,
Yeah.
right? Like, for example, this guy, what he liked was he liked being degraded. He liked being insulted and humiliated. And the best way for him to do that is to literally be an animal, like be a dog.
Like
so
a
he
furry.
liked dog training.
Really? So on a
Right,
leash.
and he
on a
liked,
leash.
on the leash. You know, he would, throw a slipper at him, and he'll go and fetch it.
Wow, man. On his all fours?
Yep.
Like a dog.
And then he'll get, I'll give him a glass of water in a bowl, and he'd go lick it,
And he'll
like
come.
full on.
He'll pay you
dog.
for that.
Well, yeah,
Well,
that's,
yeah,
that's
it's
one
part
of
of
the
the- part of the
services. That's
things, yeah.
part of the service,
Wow,
like
dude.
dominatrix things. And I asked him, I said, what made you be like this? He liked feet as well. And that's part of it because, the feet is, obviously on the ground. So he felt he was more degraded because, he's beneath me.
Yeah.
And it's more like psychological.
And so that comes from, you reckon, his childhood.
Yes, and that's what he said. He said when he was about in primary age school, he used to have this auntie, and he just liked to admire her feet. So I think he was like 9 or something. Like obviously he didn't think anything sexual, but he just loved her feet. And then what he used to do, because she used to, he used to sleep over her place, when he was young. So when she was sleeping, he would just go into her room and just stare at her feet.
I never thought of doing that.
Because that's what he was into.
But why feet?
I
What is,
don't know.
what
I
is
don't
the
know.
foot
Maybe
fetish?
because, there's a lot of guys that love feet.
Why?
Somehow.
Then you got people that hate feet.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
It's like coriander.
I love
isn't it?
coriander.
Oh, me
and
too.
Olives and
I
pineapple.
love
and
coriander, but there's
I'm,
people who go,
uh,
I hate coriander, and I
indifferent.
don't understand.
I'm indifferent to it.
Do you like coriander?
I don't mind coriander.
You don't
I don't
mind?
mind feet.
I used to hate coriander until I got older and my taste bud got mature.
Okay, so what makes you like feet? Like it's like,
Yeah, I like my feet getting massaged.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice, but the feet,
But
the foot
I
fetish.
don't know. I think it's more about like a psychological thing. Like I said, some of these men or even women like being degraded. That's one of their kinks, degradation kink, and a lot of them do like feet fetishes, and they just like being touched by feet. They like the smell of it. They like feet being on their faces everywhere.
I knew a prostitute. She actually had a client who would
Yeah,
who
and
would
people
come over
pay
and she'll pay
for
like you do have to clean it.
photos
Yeah.
of feet.
She wanted feet
It's a big
cleaned.
business.
Wanted dirty feet.
Order
And he
more.
Yeah,
wasn't
some of
wanting
them like
clean feet.
dirty.
Or like really
Or-
clean feet.
A lot of the ones who have foot fetishes, they also like being trampled on, and you'll have your boots on, and just kick their balls,
I've
ball
seen
busting,
that. I've seen that. Not in
being
person.
stepped on.
Nah, I
Yeah.
don't tolerate
I mean,
that. for
those
myself,
are like
yeah.
the hardcore stuff.
So this is the other stuff you were talking about, but what you do is more of the goddess side, right?
Yes, so I like being pleasured, massage and worshipped and stuff. But if they do have a kink, I cater to that. I mean, we all have hard limits, things that we wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Usually like the disgusting stuff,
Yeah.
like
man.
scat.
Oh, scat. You know what scat is?
I'm over it. Yeah.
When they say, what's that
Don't
really
be shat on
famous
me.
one?
I know.
2 girls and 1 cup or something?
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I don't want to see it.
2
We'll
girls in
Google
one
it.
cup. And they just scat. They just like the shit.
Yeah, apparently they had 1 cup.
Oh, bro.
So this is how far
Have
do
you
you
heard
go,
of it?
I
Stodge?
heard of it.
And-
People
Yeah,
watch
I
it.
know.
I haven't watched it.
I refuse to watch it.
Nick
Yeah.
watched.
When I was younger.
Oh my
Really?
God.
That's fucked.
Scatting.
16, that shit came out. There was like one video.
You know, I remember seeing something like that. There was a guy, getting shat on by a chick. That
This
was
one
that was a
was 2
scene.
women and 1 cup. So if you can imagine, here's a cup, 2 girls.
And they got to fill it up.
Yeah. And then
Was that hardcore
start-
Max?
No.
Yeah, I've
then the
seen that. Is it
vomiting
hardcore Maxi hardcore? Max hardcore.
I mean, I heard, I'm not sure if this is true, but one of them actually died. The bacteria and everything like that got
he
sick.
ate too much gluten.
Hey, a lot of allergies these days. You have
Yeah,
to be
man.
careful.
And this is the thing. Stodge, how far do we go?
Oh, that's just crazy.
Yeah, so there are some crazy
Yeah.
things out there.
But this is the thing, like, so going back to from that crazy, this is where sexual things have gone too far. I remember guys even, they hang off the roof, you know, with hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how far do you go? Like you've had rods, you mentioned, Contessa mentioned on your podcast,
bro.
Shoving the rods in the urethra
Yeah.
where it's
That's
stunk like
called
raw meat.
sounding. So,
And guys like the smell of meat cooking.
Bacon.
I mean, there's a lot of, you know, like there's some people that just likes watching people eat as well. You know?
God, okay.
Watching
so there's
fat
a lot
people
of
eat.
things.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing anything criminal. Why
No.
not?
No. So this is a changed world.
Like I've had one guy that just liked cling wrap. So
I've heard of
I
that.
would
I've heard of
wrap
that.
him up
I've
in
heard of
cling
that.
wrap. And he'll just sit there for lie there for 5 hours.
Just naked, being clean wrapped. Dude. Well, this doesn't happen at your parties, though.
No. My parties are just about sex. And, you know, the pamper parties don't go like that. It's more about worshipping and pampering, you know. Like I have a spa and a sauna and in
Sauna,
indoor
fuck,
pool.
that's good.
So
All
we
right,
go
so-
there, relax, and then you have the guys, you know, massage your feet, you know, serve you drinks and wine and you know, cabanossi if you want.
What kind
Well,
of
mate,
cabanossi?
okay, so your next party.
Well, I don't have a date for my next
That's all right,
party
but
yet.
you're going to let me know.
Of course.
I'll bring my
Because I just
my
had
media guy and my cameraman.
I just had my
You're
social
going to wear your
event
flannel. Your social?
on Friday.
Yep. And that went well?
Yes, it was really fun. I do have a best dress competition, so the people who make an effort to dress up, I would give them a prize, and that's sponsored by Red Hot Pie, and they give me merchandise, and I give that to them.
That's
They just
perfect.
give a bit of a feedback with Red Hot Pie in their experience, and of course, you know, a bit of a plug for my parties, and then they get the prize. And the prizes are actually pretty good, you know. Some BDSM stuff, some, you know, things like bikinis and wine coolers.
Did you do themes like Easter, Christmas?
Yeah, like so for my last one was Dirty Disney. So
The
people
Grinch.
came up with, you know, Disney outfits, you know, things like that. I was Snow White because, you know, there is a bit of controversy with that new movie that came
that's
out in
Disney,
Snow
yeah,
White.
that's
You know,
been
I'm not
canned.
Snow White. You know, I'm more like darker. So it was actually quite funny.
Yeah, that was very political, that one.
Yes, very, very.
Yeah, they
I
changed
don't know
it.
the whole.
They went and changed it. They went and did the AI, or they had the dwarves like females.
Yeah,
and little...
I don't know. I haven't actually watched it, but you know.
No, I
there's-
don't do Disney.
there's- You
I
don't do Disney.
No, not funny. I don't do
Except
kids.
just dirty
Just the
ones.
Simpsons. That's
Oh,
it.
Simpsons. Awesome.
Simpsons are awesome. All right, well, you know what? When you do your next party, you got to let us know,
Of course.
and we'll
Find me a venue.
we'll be there. Stodge, we're onto a venue, okay? You know some people, don't you?
Go to the local park.
But we'll go brainstorm in Thailand in a few weeks, all right?
Yeah, why not? We'll
All
figure
right.
something out.
Well,
I'm
thanks.
keen.
Yeah, well, thank both of you for coming.
Of course, thank you.
Hey, that was a
thank you for
fantastic-
inviting me.
That was a fantastic
Hopefully
chat.
you guys have learnt a little bit.
We
I
have,
learned
Right.
definitely a lot.
and you know, and I do look forward to your future events. And I think it is it is a nice thing that could work. People judge things, right?
Of course.
And this is why I like the way things are turning. A lot of couples are in need of sometimes a place like your
course,
parties.
yeah.
I do think it helps, but it does destroy. But as long as you communicate,
Exactly. You know,
in
full
a relationship,
communication, you talk about your rules and your boundaries, and you try not to overstep things.
Yep.
And it's full communication. If things aren't working, you know, talk about it. That's all it is.
yeah, beautiful.
Hmm.
And the stage we're going to go next time, all right?
Oh, yeah, definitely consider it.
Okay.
This was actually fantastic chat, eye opener. You're a lovely woman. Thank you very much.
That's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a
Great.
whole different
That's a
world,
great
mate.
pun.
Yeah, it is.
That's a great
We'll finish on that.
Hey, you're going to be the Titanic. Let's go.
Oh, thanks, Jade. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
And
Thank
Stodge,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah, you're welcome, my man. All right.
I love you guys.
Roman
all right?
wrestling.
I'll see you
All right,
man.
see you
Yes.
later. Bye.